Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. The alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling deep my stomach, paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling deep my stomach, paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I put attention, all of my blood, all of my veins. They started with Perky, now that hair by numbers veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with Dylan, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the string. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling deep my stomach, paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the string. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling deep my stomach, paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah.
Lost see, I glossed to it, shit ain't been the same. Heard the ops talking to the feds, giving names. Who gon' feed my family if they take me out the game? Keep one in the head and one eye open, that ain't change. I'm quick to catch a body. When I shoot, he shoot, I know bro shooting right beside me. Them hollow tips go through the wall and then they hit his body.
Suave on the track.
Yeah, I'm demanding respect. I see everybody ballin' till it's time to connect. I see everybody killers till you hand them a tech. Or cops read them they rights, nightsticks to they neck. Too many chasing the check instead of checking priorities. Flexing heavy on the ground, but you still a minority. Fucking whips, your chains, or anything that came after. Misleading black people, you a fucking slave master. This is Genesis, I'm flipping the page backwards. Listen to intuition, we ain't got the same pastors. Me, I follow no man, I can't be programmed. This soul food set the mood like a fucking slow jam. It's time to eat up. I'm 10 toes down, who gon' defeat us? I'm living gold, aboriginal, check my features. Who gon' speak up? I turn up and blow speakers. My own teacher, I grew up with no leaders. Can't trust people, cause they ain't telling the whole truth. Get directions to heaven, but you live in the hell too. That's how I feel, keeping it real. Love it or hate it, either way they trying to crucify me like the savior. Put thorns in my crown, they knowing that I'm a king. We been crossed too many times, whipped and hung from trees. I am my ancestors from the past that done bled, and now we here resurrected. Bitch, I'm back from the dead, immortal. They can't kill me, I'm forever on the rise. They despise my genetics, it's something special about my kind. A descendant of the ones in the tombs. Brown babies coming from wombs, in tune with the sun and the moon. You feel me? If it ain't clear, it's time to switch optics. Cause ignorance got us moving in fear, and that bring them big profits. But I'm a prophet, so I kick knowledge. Cause the shit that you hearing on the radio got us misguided. They got our goddesses hating they real bodies, and the gods getting high off lean and pill popping. Bodies are still dropping. Is you paying attention? I guess not. You still paying to listen. I move different in my true image. Just too many projecting hate. Who gon' lift the whole world up and tell them they great? Everybody getting money, but who's spreading the bait so we can buy back the block, start to better this place. Cause our skin tones is dark, it's divine mastery. The half grown from my dome defies gravity, yeah. The real rulers of earth rebirth humanity. Facts. The queen's high supreme, call her your majesty. Facts. You better batter me, listen, don't be a casualty. Fuck a colonizer, we guardians of the galaxy. They super late, bitch, I move truth, fuck moving weight. Earth is our true estate, then let our lights illuminate and prosper. I promise I'm passionate with my power. I'm writing all my wrongs and balancing every chakra. Who gon' stop? I'm a daddy try. The reason you so scared to fly is cause you scared to die. But I exist on dimensions beyond this plane. You thinking it's all it's good versus evil, our enemies all the same. So I'm 10 toes down with my feet in the dirt. And when I leave Earth, you still hear me speaking this verse. His music is all my scriptures I've been keeping since birth. When I spoke them into existence, I was seeing my worth. My purpose is my perspective. I'm serving a higher message. A piece of the Most High is written in my genetics. I speak for my soul tribe. We shed a divine essence, releasing the soul ties to whatever we find negative, right? Instead of bashing our women, we heal with them. Instead of running from problems, we deal with them. And instead of killing our brothers, we build with them. So, fuck the illusions, we seeing the real picture. We here. It's more spiritual than physical, nigga. If you ain't trying to bring change, you invincible, nigga, for real. My message lives, it's invincible, nigga. And fuck being rich if you ain't got no principles, nigga. Prayer.
Hey, let me say something real quick. All these years we've been calling each other niggas and they think we tripping. Have our own kind looking at us with resentment, but listen. You see, we not slaves, but we are the descendants. But this is a new age, so it's time to transition. Nigga means noble individual, grace and godly ambition. Cause we always make gold out of the labels that they give us. Cause this is our land, we were the first that ever existed. So respect your temple, honor your pigment. From the motherland to the other lands, we are
Indigenous.
I buy the same products.
Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Let everybody hit that like button, thumb up the video, support the channel, man. Show power. Make sure you thumb up the video, support the channel, man. Get the vibration.
Truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. Truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't legalized. Realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Realize. Yeah. Slavery was a long time ago. How? Same motherfuckers still here right now. Colonized on our land, they ahead of us. Changed our names so much they scared of us. Children of the sun, y'all don't compare to us. Pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Talking about America, pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Even up the playing field, bitch, I'm darn. How you a victim, bitch, you a Karen. Cognitive dissonance, you don't need sperm. You got white privilege, so you don't need sperm. Looking at my homeland, man, I can't believe her. Colonized came here, they ain't never leave here. Indians ain't die off cause we here. You ain't gotta lie, just say you won't be here. How you American but not indigenous? 400 years still ain't get rid of us. All Europeans, naturalized citizens. Made all the Indians niggas on the census. 1492, we was on the fences. Civil rights movement, we was so defensive. Black Wall Street, whites got so offended. Common law rights gave us amendments. Think I don't speak truth, that's alright. First slave 1619 was all white. 1200 wasn't no continent, all white. Europe named after a black woman, alright. Grafted, it come from us, do your research. Go within, quit listening to the teacher. And the Nuki got voice coming out the speaker. Cut off trees down and made us weaker. Really they foreign of the chick gets deeper. Whites don't know where whites come from. How Aborigine we come from the ether. Ruling over us in our land, that's evil. Being colonized right now, black people. Prisoner of the war, that's why it ain't equal. Wake up everybody, don't be no sheeple. Freedom ain't free, really freedom is illegal. And we can't get mad at this. Whites act like we can't see their advantages. Privilege is real, they working in management. Low down dirty, but they calling us savage. They want you to think they above us. All white people are part time been lied to. I got built up anger. You built everything, still waiting on the savior. Don't call yourself black, please do me that favor. Black tourmaline will protect you from a hater. Listening to your oppressors is dangerous. Gave us a Bible and stole our nation. Said we couldn't read but we didn't know the language. Kept us on paper because we didn't see the danger. American Indian, keep the religion. And she ain't no Democrats there to gotta pay attention. We got ancestors, but the papers is missing. Kings and queens, we just can't remember. Remember who you are, just like Simba. Now they got a vax, we don't want that in us. George Washington is the ninth president, look it up. United States, only 10 square blocks, look it up. White people really the minorities, look it up. Courtrooms don't got authorities, look it up. You want me, say stop governing me. Gave me a straw man, it's really not me. Why you don't keep it 100 with me? Why Trey walk around free? Made this song for the truth, don't hate it. History was told in reverse, I've stated. Reach to impress somebody, gotta say it. I'm taking out of school, that's the reason I made it. History, it's his story. History, it's his story. History, that's his story. History, it's his story. That ain't my story. History, it's his story. Probably ain't your story. History, it's his story. It's his story.
Peace, love, and light to all the American Aborigines, all the American Indians that's tuning in. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed your day and now it's settling in this evening. Shout out to everybody that's on the West Coast that's still enjoying the rest of their day. Shout out to everybody in the building. Can I get everybody to drop a fire emoji? This is your brother Aboriginal Power. I got a fire show I got together for you guys. Before we get into that, man, I want you guys to support the channel, man. I've been dropping a lot of heat, man. A lot of heat. A lot of fire information. A lot of stuff that people are not talking about, which they eventually will. A lot of our culture aspects, inventions, and innovations. I want you guys to be appreciative of it. It seems like almost like it ain't. I could be doing these builds in pay-per-views and only in pay-per-view format. But I am going to do pay-per-views, but I still want to give you high quality information when I'm not doing pay-per-views. So I need you guys to hit that like button, support the channel. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. I got nothing but love for everybody that's in here. Hopefully everybody's enjoying their beautiful day. We got a lot of heat to deal with today. When y'all see the title, Pacal, better known as Palenque, the king of the Mayans. We're going to be dealing with his burial site. We're going to be dealing with the actual temple of Palenque, which is called Pacal, which is in the city of Pacal, which is the kingdom of Palenque. That particular place where they found him is called Dark-Hearted Jaguar Temple. That's Dark-Hearted Jaguar Temple. We're going to be getting into a lot of that information. So shout out to everybody that is in the building. Hopefully everybody is enjoying, like I said, the live stream. This is going to be one of the ones you're going to want to really, really get in and get your pen and paper. So shout out to everybody that's in the building. I do want to take the time out to shout out everybody that is in here this great afternoon, this evening. This great afternoon or evening. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. I do want to say peace and blessings to everybody that is up in here. So make sure y'all drop those fire emojis. Give me some energy. Let me know what's going on. If y'all been enjoying these live streams over the course of a week, we're going to continue to put out high quality information, man, for the American people. So but I'm going to need you guys to support, man. It's a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of things go into this information. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna need you guys to get on the board and support the channel. Don't forget, we have the $5 challenge in effect. And this is not just for my channel. This is for Al TV's, Big Dog Philly OGs, Sister Soul. Anybody who's dropping high quality Aboriginal, American Indian, or American information, support them. Got a lot of time and commentary and effort going into these particular builds. So let me shout out some of the brothers and sisters that took their time out to come rock with me. Drop them fire emojis. Like I said, let's get these likes up. Share the live stream. Shout out to Never Hungry Again, David Bell, Yanetta Yah, D3D, Lady Spade, Wood, Just Us, Chief Crazy Overstanding, Aboriginal Think Tank. Peace to you, brother. Peace to you. Professor Bap says peace to you. Lou Evergrass Roots, Stephanie Burkham, Lady Spade, Karma Shabazz, the Real Mother of Nature, Poker Chew, David Bell. Who else we got in here? East Bend Ray. Glad to see you in here. A Chief Serpentine, the Snake God, Equator 7. Grizzly 901 is in the building. Grizzly 901 is in the building. So yeah, man, we got a lit chat in here already. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. The $5 challenge is in effect. We're gonna get straight into some of this fire information. But before we get right into it, I do want to say shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody. Are y'all even familiar with Palenque? Are y'all familiar with any of the Mayan guys, the Snake Dynasty, any of these particular things? Well, we're gonna get into that today. So shout out to y'all. Hopefully y'all in here for the fire information that we got lined up for you guys. Let's get right into it. All right. We're gonna get ready to put this on the screen. All right, let's get it, man. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Let's get it going. Shout out to everybody in the building. Before we get it directly going, I want to tap in and lock in with everybody, make sure everybody is good to go. Shout out to everybody in the building. Ghetto Child Clinic. Shout out to Gary Carter in the building. Arising Aborigine, Suda Natural, Haynes. Shout out to Brother Haynes. Shout out to everybody tapping in, man. Share the live stream too. It's very important for you guys to share the live stream on your social media outlet, man. That lets everybody know that we're live. It gets everybody engaged. It gets everybody involved with the conversation at hand, man. It's going to be one of them ones. So I want y'all to really be involved and tap in. Shout out to Gary Carter for the $5 cash out donation, starting it off, supporting the $5 challenge. Also, shout out to Suda Natural for the $5 cash out donation. He said, keep giving that high grade information. Absolutely, brother. I promise you, it's going to be raw and uncut. Y'all going to be able to slice it up and do whatever you want to with the information and give it to the people how they need it in the areas where you need it, man. But we're going to give it to you raw and uncut. Let's get right into it, man. Let's get right into it. Archaeologists have discovered the tomb of the ancient Maya king in pre-Columbian site El Perro Huaca in Guatemala. Thought to have dated at 300 to 350 AD, it is the oldest royal tomb in the northwest Pedian region. All right, Pedian. All right. Throughout the dates and the preliminaries and near farther analysis, we need to think that this could be one of the first rulers of the Huaca dynasty. Archaeologist Griselda Perez Robles told Arnet's News in an email, along with two colleagues. Perez Robles helped lead the terminal excavation of the site palace at Acropolis and the lead to find the excavation of what it took. The excavation from outside the building took 75 days of uninterrupted work. Perez added, nothing that is discovered of this tomb itself took place in 65 days, required 8 extensive days of work. We removed one of the rocks and could see a funeral chamber with bones, remains, and the offerings were covered with cinnabar, which indicated that it was a passage of royalty. So not only did they understand the culture that they found a king, they found the queen, they found the tomb. We'll get into who it is exactly. They found the tomb in one of the oldest Mayan sites known to man. Now, prior to this, there was a new archaeologist and anthropologist on site that discovered it, that this particular site in Guatemala is not just a classic period, it's a pre-classic period that makes it roughly around the same date as the Olmec. That's around 1600 BCE. Okay. And so now we have a tomb, we have a king, we can identify, we can put a face to one of the rulers of our particular dynasties that we get in here. We're going to get into some of the sciences. In just a second, here go the burial chamber that was excavated and seen. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Make sure y'all support the channel. It said the discovery of the burial 80 at the El Perro Huaca Regional Archaeological Project in Guatemala, courtesy of the Protecto, whatever that is in Spanish, and the Ministry of Culture and Sports of Guatemala. The tomb of the seventh to be found at the site has been named Burial 80. It contained the carved jade mask and depicts the departed rulers of the Mayan god of maize. Right? So the Mayan god of maize is the same exact god that the Olmec worship that deal with maize or corn. Okay? So we're dealing with a very sophisticated people. And now, mind you, there's no prior evidence to building civilizations in that particular site that's older than that. That's just because of the lack of research. But you cannot just assume that these people wake up one day and just have the ability to build a temple, to be able to have ordinance, to be able to have government, to be able to construct these particular sites. That people don't wake up and just do that overnight. So the trial and error, the originating factor from which all this stemmed from has yet to be revealed. All right, drop a fire emoji if you guys are with me. Moving on. All right, so it said the ruler, they found it and depicted a part of the Mayan maze guy, as well as 22 ceramic vessels made out of some particular shells, jade ornaments, and shell pendants carved in the shape of a crocodile. Right? The classic Mayan, now mind you, this is not even talking about pre-classic. This is just classic Mayan. We get into pre-classic in just a second because their advancements in scientific feats are marvelous. We'll get to that in just a second. The classic Mayan revered their divine rulers and treated them as living souls after death. David Frettel told the source at Washington University in St. Louis, where he was a professor of anthropology, the king's tomb helped to make the royal palace a corpus holy ground, the place of majesty early in history of the Waka dynasty, of the Wak dynasty. Excuse me, I keep saying Waka. You understand? I'm getting caught up in the name. So we're going to get into the excavation date right here. Sorry about that. Located in the intersection of what is San Pedro and San Juan's River, El Peru, Wakan is the key area to commercial exchange in the Pedian area in ancient times. So they're saying this particular site that we found in El Mirador would have been the epic center of exchange, of commerce. Now, let's think of large cities like Chicago, New York, Hollywood, California, Houston, Texas. We think of these places as large cities of building and commerce. So when you think of these Mayan cities, put yourself in the mind of any large city that you will see today, okay? Building within commerce, all right? So it said they acknowledge the commerce of exchange within the Pedian era of ancient times. The discovery of Barrow 80 allows us to get closer to the knowledge of the first centuries of this site when it was in development, okay? Although it already had an established social organization and a complex ideological system. So, okay, so listen, it said that it had established social organization. That means that it already had understanding systems and government that was borrowed from a prior government that was revered. They already had ideological understanding, complex understanding from a culture that came before them, which they revered. Obviously, the system worked perfectly, which is why they used it to control and implement and which farther to develop their system. All right, and that's said by Perez. Excavation have been ongoing in El Peru, Huacal Regional Archaeological Site since 2003. The site, given its history and influence in the region, extraordinary, said Perez. It would not be surprising if further findings of great relevance continue to be uncovered. And that's a key factor quote from Perez in 2003, because she quoted that not knowing, but only to be realized and understood today. Some things was actually found. Some things was actually found in those particular areas, which we about to get into that. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the live stream. We're going to get into the Temple of Pacal. We're going to get into the Temple of Pacal right now. So make sure y'all share the live stream, thumb up the video, support the channel. Let's get into the next segment. We're going to be getting into the temples of Pacal. We're going to be getting into some of the leaders. And this is Palenque. And Palenque is one of the kings who was one of the few kings, Mayan kings, who was buried in a temple that they found with the sarcophagus in place. There was a sarcophagus in place for Palenque. Okay. Drop a fire emoji in the chat if y'all can hear me. I want to make sure that we're good on you guys' end. So here goes the Temple of Pacal. Y'all probably seen this in almost every image when you look up Mayan temples and pyramids. This is one of the most prestige and often utilized and used structure that you see in Mayan culture. And this belongs to Palenque. So we'll get into that. The temple and inscriptions at Palenque, which is the Chiapas, Mexico. So this is the temple of Palenque. Once again, make sure that y'all can hear me loud and clear. I want to make sure that my audio is good. I want to make sure that my audio is good on you guys' end, man. So just make sure that I sound good. Let me know in the chat. Drop a fire emoji. Let me know if I'm loud and clear. All right, so let's get into some of this literature. Now, we was reading in the article about the tombs priorly found. This was in Classic Period Mayan. That means the dating of this particular site would have been Classic Period. What we're about to look at now goes back a little farther, which I mentioned earlier in the live stream, that this pre-Classic Mayan dates roughly around the same time as the Old Mayan. So I'm trying to keep that in mind as we read. Classic Period Mayan Kamha. Place waters. Okay. La Kamha means big water in the Wato. Okay. Because many streams traverse the ridge and cascading down cliffs to join large rivers below, blessed with a natural abundance. The city flourished for 700 years. Okay. That's almost 200 years, the length of, that's almost 500 to 400 years, the length that the United States has been an operating country. So about 700 years, this particular culture and nation flourished, produced a remarkable number of hieroglyphic texts, well preserved over the succeeding centuries. All right. So not only did Egyptians make hieroglyphics, the ancient Maya did as well. Now, I want y'all to keep this significant factor in y'all notes as we continue to build on history, and we're going to get to travel, migration, bottleneck, genetic bottleneck, and some of these factors are going to come up and play a part. So I want you guys to take note, okay? All right. So it says that the Maya made remarkable hieroglyphic text, well preserved over succeeding centuries. Lengthy hieroglyphics carved on stone panels made on interior walls of the chambers gave archaeological text that enabled them to determine the king's list. So they weren't able to really get into and decode it and see exactly who the name, how far it goes back of this particular king's list. And excuse me, let me take that back. The well-preserved hieroglyphics and the carved stone steles, right, or the panels on the inside of the wall of the chambers, gave archaeologists the ability to determine the king's list, learn history, mythology, religions, and other sophisticated things about the Maya. All right, so this is what it looked like shortly after excavation, still going through development stages. Now it's almost in prestige factor at this particular point. So let's continue to get back into some more. And this is the cross group temples of the cross to the left. It said a floated cross, far background, the sun right there, the sun on the pyramid. So you see these particular, and here photo of what the pyramid would have looked like. So let's get a little image of that right here while we get it on the screen. Shout out to everybody in the building. Hey, if y'all enjoying the live stream, please drop a fire emoji in the chat. Let me know that you are enjoying the live stream. You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't like these type of bills where it gets straight to the information, strictly about information, let me know. We'll switch it up and get back into a different bag like we was doing. I know some of you guys is strictly here for the information. Okay? I'll keep the info. So shout out to everybody in the building. Let's continue. So that's the diagram of Palenque's temple of the cross. And mine is called the Temple of the Cross. We'll get into that in another segment. So that's the Temple of the Cross reconstruction, 3D Maya imagery. Okay. The cross group. We're going to zoom this in just a little bit so we can get into it. The cross group or the cosmic creation. The cross group is a treasure of Mayan mythology comprised of three main structures. And the three main structures is going to deal with the three suns. And that's always been romanticized, and it's written on steles. They romanticize the story of Radshak, Meshach, and Abednego. It's almost to these stories when you get into the mythology form of Palenque, describing these particular astrology or astronomical alignments. It's almost like the three amigos. It's almost like the three little munchkins, the three little pigs. All these stories is in significance to astronomical alignments, and I break that down in the foreground. Okay, they were formed a triangle around the plaza with a lower center platform, whose four-sided symbolism the four-sided universe of the Maya cosmology. The three temples represent a hearthstone of creation. The three stars of Orion, which is set in a pattern of earth and Mayan homes. The cross group temples are an earthly reflection of the cosmic creation event, reinforced by natural setting at the base of the Scared Mountain and the Kahuk Lakam widths, okay, and whose peaks offer the vista over the entire city. The largest temple faces a spring emerging from the mountain, is streaming, flowing across the main ridge. So they in close proximity. They actually showing symbolism of the sacred order in which they lay this geometrical structure, facing it towards the river, letting it know abundance of information flow in, and replenishing of the soul, the spirit, and the body. So this is very symbolic when we get into some of this. So we'll get into what that looked like in just a second. The interior chambers of the temples hold panels relating to Palenque creation myth. So inside of the temple, on the wall, there's high relief carvings in the form of what we call hieroglyphics. These hieroglyphics have been translated, unlike the Egyptian ones. We'll get into these. The birth of the tri-gods and Palenque patent deities created the world during the mythic times. Each god's cosmetic symbolism, and however these gods became the forebearers of Palenque kings, right? And one of the Palenque kings is Pacal. Pacal is one of the Palenque kings. They call him the Palenque as well. Panels in each temple tell a story of the Lady Comrade and her three sons and the tri-gods. This set of the panel and along the written narrative of the classic Mayan mythology. Each temple is owned by one of the tri-gods, and the expresses of the deity prominent symbolism and function within Mayan societies of religion. So the three gods, the three temples, and the Lady Comrade is the story that you get when you get in the Radshak, Meshach, and Abednego story. So this is all symbolism of astrology. So when you're reading the Bible and they're telling these stories, it's not just basic stories for you to know. No, they're giving you science that you should be aware about, which is to pay attention to what's above you. And that's the overall moral when you get to some of this religion. We look at some of the diagrams of some of the temples. You see the temples in threes. You see the large Palenque cross. That's his temple itself where they found him buried. We go to the old one from the prior segment, and then you see other workings around. We go down and look at some of the vast area that we see in Palenque. Shout out to everybody in the building. If you're enjoying the build, drop a fire emoji. And if you're really enjoying the build, let Big Aboriginal Power know that you're enjoying it. You know what I mean? Support the channel. $5 challenge is still in effect. And this is for who's putting out the most information. I'm in competition with every Aborigine, a friendly competition, because I want to produce the most information, the highest quality of information. I consider myself the top scholar, and I want to stand on that. And there's no disrespect to anyone that put in their own work and their due diligence. This is all a friendly competition to get us in the bag, to get this information out. So shout out to everybody in the building. It's all love. I got love for everybody in the community. But yeah, man, that's all. So yeah, man, let's get to this information. If y'all enjoying it, support the channel. The $5 challenge is in effect. Cash out and PayPal information is at the bottom of the screen. So let's continue this thing on out, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. This is the diagram of what they're talking about in the city of Palenque, the kings of Palenque. So these would have been various different sites, king castles of Palenque. So these are dope historical structures. These are dope ass historical structures. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Make sure y'all hit the like button, thumb up the video. I see everybody. I see Rella Ruga in here. Real Ruga, what up with it? Real Ruga in the building. Janine in the building. Who else I see in the building? Dark Energy, Star Child, what's going on? A Supreme Chieftain, what's going on? I see y'all. Hey, call me B. I see you, brother. Carl Birch, what's going on? I see you. Grandma Yasher Ardar. I can't pronounce your name, brother, but peace and love to you too, bro. You already know what's going on. Is this my brother from the is that my brother from the Delaware area, the Hebrew brother from the Delaware area that's in the chat? Grandma, if that's you, let me know if you're from the Delaware area, man. Shout out to you, you're a good brother. Definitely been meaning to get in whole contact with you. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let's continue with the study of Pacal, aka the king of Palenque, Mayan king. We're gonna be dealing with this burial site. Also, the name of the particular temple is called Dark-Hearted Jaguar Temple. Revealed. We'll get into that. And El Mirador. We got a lot of few things to be getting into. All right, yeah, that's you, big bro. I thought that was you, man. Good to see you in here, man. Good to see you in here. I'm definitely gonna get with you on the back end. I'm gonna hit you in your inbox and your messages, bro. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. Definitely want to get with you. Put some shit together for the community, for sure. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let's get on to it. So that's some of the diagram, as you can see, dealing with Palenque's mapping project. And this was put together by Edwin Bernhardt, 1999. All right. So let's get into it. The cross group was built by 12th ruler Lakam Ha Kahin Bahin the second, son of the frame ruler Janab Pacal. Now, a lot of people don't know is Pacal is not necessarily come from a king's list, but his grandmama comes from a royal king's and a royal female's bloodline, which gave him seniority to be able to run the line, which we'll get into that in just a second. Palenque was considered the greatest Mayan king, right? Pacal. This is who we talking about. This is who built this city, who got the sarcophagus. And now, mind you, on the sarcophagus of Pacal, you find an engraving. It looks like he's on some type of aerial device or submergible device. He's on some type of technically advanced craft for aerial or for some type of conveyance. And your guess is good as mine, whether it's for aerial flight or for submergible reasons. But we see this engraved in the acute detail and engraving on his sarcophagus is very key when it gets into some of his understandings in astrology and understanding the water. The name of the area is called the Big Waters. That's what Lakam Ha means. Lakam Ha, which is right here, the 12th ruler of Big Waters. You can just put Big Waters in replace for this. All right. The panels made a statement about how these divisions were aspects of his own political authority through ancestors, agriculture, and warfare, and how his lineage descend from the creator, goddess, and gods. All right, so we'll get into that. Each tablet has a remarkable double portrait of Count Balaam, which as a child of 6 years old, and when he designated as the later ruler at the age of 48. Now, mind you, they have images and baby footage of him when he was 6. They got images engraved of him when he was 48. And I believe the last one was done at like 72 and he died at 88. So they have documented records exactly when this last king died. And this is Pacal. Okay? Or Pascal. You can also say Pascal, Pacal. They often put an S right there as well. So yeah, man, we about to get into some heat, man. I need everybody to drop them fire emojis. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the live stream, man. Let's continue and let's get straight into it, man. All right. I said okay, we got into it, so it's talking about each one. We're gonna go down just a little more here in just a second. If anybody have any questions, put those in the chat before we move on. We'll make sure we having class today. All right, so let's get into it right now, man. Shout out to everybody that's in the building, man. So let's get into the next piece. Let me look in the chat real quick. All right, see everybody in here. If I got any questions, just put them in the chat. All right, the largest, the Temple of the Cross. The largest and the highest structure, a sky temple associated with solar rebirth and the ancestral authority owned by one Lord. That one Lord would be Hum Ahanu, Ahanu, Hahanu, firstborn of the triad God. Out of the three gods, out of the three kids, out of the three particular deities, right? The Rashak, Meshach, and Abednego. The first one name was Ahanu. Oh, that's what I'm gonna call it right now. The center symbol is a large cross representing the scared world tree, cosmic tree of the Milky Way, called the Wakaha Kanti. Six sky jewel tree is what it were often referred to, with flowering branches decorated in jewels with the celestial bird and animal spirit of the creator gods Itzima perched on top. Hanu represented a rebirth of the first God's creation. Hold on just a second, you guys. All right, sorry about that, you guys. All right, let's continue. Shout out to everybody in the building. It said with flowering branches, a Hanu, right, represented the rebirth of the original first father creator God. So here goes the image of the creator God. Damn, I don't know what the hell that is. Here go an image of the creator God, and it looks like they're doing some type of chemistry. They got some type of alchemy going on right here, and this could be literally a depiction of them creating some type of genetic splicing. You know, he was very advanced with technological advance, and it looks like this is some scientific things going on. He was a very intelligent brother, been around the knowledge, come from knowledge. His great grandmother, grandfather come from kings. And this is how he ultimately get his royal seat on the throne, not because he come from a king, but because his grandmama comes from kings and goddesses. So yeah, let's continue this conversation. Shout out to everybody in the building. Panel temporal cross, Lyndon Swell's drawing, courtesy of the Ancient Americas. Let's get into it. The temple of the floating cross, right, is the mid-sized structure in an earth temple associated with water and agriculture, primarily made, symbolizing the king procreative powers owned by the infant Kalwil and Enin Kalwil, third born but second ranking of the triad god. So the second triad god, the central symbol of the tree and the floration representation, a sprouting corn, right? Yeah, canal tea means yellow corn tree. All right, it rises from the monster head with seashells and water muffets and scared mountain symbols. As patriarch deities of royal lineage of the Anu Canaan, as fertility of rain making throughout the lightning themes of rebirth germination. All right. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let's move on down a little bit. And here goes another image of this particular system taking place. So we see it going and take. So listen, it said that this is the fertility. Now, mind you, I just said it looks like they're doing some genetic alters, and this particular god, which is considered the maize god, and he's representation of primary the maize god. And we all know that creation of children goes back to the children of corn. Could this be one of the first scientific feats of children of the corn being illustrated? It even says that it adds fertility and the rain making throughout lightning and themes of rebirth and germination. That is literally explaining the gene splicing conversation, literally within Pacal. We'll get to that on another note. And I believe this was a great scientific breakthrough. All right, Temple of the Sun, the lowest and the smallest structure And the underworld temple depict as a cave within a mountain associated with warfare, military authority, owned by the night sun, deity Sun Lord, aka Kanik Ahu, second born of the tribe and the third god mentioned in this story, who symbolized the warrior, the central symbol of the ceremonial shield, and two cross spears supported on a hunch backs of the underworld deity. So he got these two spears like the Ninja Turtles. You ever seen the Ninja Turtles, the one with the two spears in the back? And so imagine that being he got the shell on his back, that's the hump, and he have two spears perched in. And so you can almost picture this particular symbolism looking like the Ninja Turtles with the two cross spears supported on his hunchback of the underworld deities, the sun-eyed face in a center rise over the four-cornered royal dais, representing the four-sided earth. Now, the four-sided earth also goes back to the shield, always goes back to the Powhatan as well. That same conversation goes back to the Powhatan as well. So when you see the Powhatans standing around in their particular ceremonials, and they have that X, this is what they're talking about: the four boxes, the four squares, the four corners of the earth, right? The four corners of the earth, the four seasons, the four elements that come together to make the. You see it within the Chickamauga Confederacy symbolism as well. Okay, so I just want to keep that in mind as we continue to read. We haven't had a couple people to support the channel yet, so let's get a couple people to support the channel while we continue to live stream. Let's get a couple people to hit that like button and support the live stream. So yeah, man, we need a couple people to support the channel, man. That's all. I'm just waiting on a couple people to support the channel while we wait around, kick it in. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let's see how many likes we got off in the building now. Shout out to everybody. We got 90 likes and we got 123 people in here. That means we have 33 people that have not hit the like button. Make sure y'all thumb up the video, support the channel. Shout out to everybody in the building. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. We're going to get back to Palenque, the king of the Mayans. His name, who gave birth to these three deities that they're talking about, is Pacal. King of the Mayans burial site found. We're dealing with the temple now, and we'll get the dark-hearted Jaguar temple as well in just a second, you guys. So let's continue. For those that's in here, drop them fire emojis. Let me light my wood up. Let me get something to drink. I've been doing a lot of reading. I haven't been playing no videos, and I forget how tiring and how mouth drying it could be constantly reading and talking to you guys constantly without taking a break. This is not rehearsed. This is freestyle. So let's get into it. All right, so we're dealing with the third god symbolism, the ceremonial phase, representing the four-sided earth is a small figure symbolism, the spirit of scared warfare. So you're looking at these particular things right here. And one of the most unique things that was found over here in this area, Pacal, which is not too far from the Amazon, when you get into historical retrospects, the inner working of these highways, they ask, how are they able to feed cities so large within these particular places? Places like rainforests, places like Guatemala and the Amazon. These are rainforests, and oftentimes, and most people know that does any research, rainforests can often be very, very treacherous land when it comes to growing things, and a poor choice of trees could leave the land unbearing, making you have to wait a long time to recolonize soil. But the ancestors have made a technological, scientific breakthrough 8,000 to 10,000 years ago. No matter what type of soil you is on, you can recolonize it with something called terra prater. Terra prater is often referred by archaeologists and anthropologists as Indian dark earth. And we're gonna pull this up right now. We're gonna get to this. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. We're gonna get to Indian dark earth in just a second. So what we're dealing with ultimately is a scientific breakthrough from scientific abilities. So hold on just a second, you guys. All right, let's pull this up on the screen. Let's see if we can get this on the screen. But yeah, so it's used as a scientific breakthrough. As a matter of fact, since it's found in 1980s, science have not been able to understand how powerful it is. How can it make the particular breakthroughs? How the microbes that's in it is not found in any other plant soil samples found in the area or in any close proximity. It's baffling sciences today, and that's called Amazonian supermud or terra prater, or what is most commonly referred to as Indian dark earth. All right, so let's get into that right now. All right, and this is from Cornell University, Department of Crop and Soil Science. So we're gonna go on down and get to this right now. All right, and this is a journal report, the scientific journal report by, like I said, Cornell University. Terra prater basic information is Terra prater diendio, Amazonian dark earth, also called Terra prater do Indio, or Indian black earth. And Indian black earth is a form of wet composting. It's a form of composting, and they haven't been able to figure out. In the local name, the certain dark earths in Brazilian Amazon region, the dark earths occurs in, however, several countries in South America and probably beyond. They are most likely created by pre-Columbian Indians from 500 to 2500 years ago, abandoned after an invasion. Europeans, Smith in 1980, Woods. However, many questions are still unanswered with the respect of the origin, distribution, and properties of Terra prater, right? What is it called? What is Terra prater also called again? Now I'm gonna be asking you this throughout the live stream to make sure you guys are paying attention. So I'm gonna need you guys to turn up out there, man. Turn up. Let's get it. Terra prater, already at the end of the 19th century, Smith in 1879 and Hart in 1885 reported that the existence of a black earth in the Amazon, which had a dark color and were highly fertile. The origins of Amazonian dark earth is not entirely clear, and several conflicting theories were discussed in the past. Of the Camargo in 1941 speculated that these soils might have formed a fallout from volcanoes in the Andes, since they were only found on the highest spots of the landscape. All right, so that's a theory. Other theories include a formation of a resort sediment of Tartarian lakes or in recent ponds. Right, so we're gonna get into other theories, or in recent ponds. Where the fuck was I at? All right. Oh shit, I forgot what the fuck I was at. All right. In other theories, all right, we just got to that. Further theories are mentioned by Smith in 1980, which all did not hold against later investigation. It is now widely accepted that these soils were not only used by the local population, but are products of indigenous soil management as proposed by the Garu of 1949. Later surveys confirmed these findings of the Sombreric in 1966 and Smith in 1980 and Kern and Camphor of 1989. Whether they were initially created for soil improvement or whether it was byproduct of habitation, it is not clear at present. This is in part due to the varieties of features in dark earth throughout the Amazon basin. Right, so we can get into some of the samples of the carbon dating of this, which we don't want to spend too much time of this. We won't get into some of the implications of it. So shout out to everybody in the building, man. Shout out to everybody in the end. So shout out. So I don't want to hear that Indians did build mounds Indians didn't build pyramids. Indians wasn't the masters at medicine. They was literally scientists. They was literally doing genetic breakthroughs, agricultural breakthroughs, anthropology and genetic breakthroughs, structural development and geometry breakthroughs in ancient times, and only to be shit, destroyed, revered, ignored, and looked over by mainstream scientists only shows the proof that our ancestral history and our ancestral land do not mean jack crap to the powers that be. They do not mean jack crap to the powers at B. Shout out to Mound City Mellow for the $20 Cash App donation. We really appreciate all the support. I really do, man. A lot of time, a lot of information goes into this. So I appreciate you. Shout out to this Mound City Mellow for the Cash App donation. We appreciate you, brother. Make sure y'all show some love to Mound City Mellow in the chat. And for those that want to support the channel, don't let Mound City Mellow be the only one to support the channel. I see Jan Renee in the building. I see Sister Soul in the building. Shout out to everybody else. Rodney Gilmore Jr. is in the building. India Goddess is in the building. Good to see you. TJ is in the building. Haynes is in the building. My brother Tayshawn is in the building. 111 True Searcher is in the building. Ron Torres is in the building as well. Hold on a second, you guys. All right, cellulars drained. All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. I'm gonna try to get this as big as I can on the screen. It's in addition to their high soil organic matter contents, as mentioned above, Amazonian dark earth are characterized by high P contents, reaching 200 milligrams. Now, this is going to be some in-depth shit. This is going to be some in-depth shit that we're going to talk about. So I don't really want to talk about this. Hold on just a second, you guys. All right, so let's get to some more articles. I'm gonna pull this up. I'm sorry about that. My computer is acting kind of slow. Y'all just bear with me. Y'all just bear with me. Let's get into a couple things that was found that we brought to the table years ago. Let's get into a few things. The first superhighways, also constructed by those same Mayans in the pre-classic area that we call the pre-classic Mayans. Like I said, that is the same date, roughly around the same time that they give you that the Olmecs was here. And now we know that archaeologists has only been limited to what the research that they have. So that's what we gotta be ensure about. So let's get into some few things, man. We need everybody to drop them fire emojis. I might drop the chat the link to get questions. I might just keep it at this and keep it moving. All right. So we're gonna get into Dr. Richard Hanson's work. Dr. Richard Hanson. Shout out to everybody in here. Few doubt the importance of the Mesoamerican cultures in the grand arc of the human civilization. So it's already starting out with scientists, scholars already doubt the importance of our cultures here when it relates to human civilization in the world. So they already giving us doubt going into it. So let's get to it. But thanks to cutting edge technology, we're only now beginning to grasp how incredible advanced stories of society. Hold on just a second, y'all. Sorry about that, y'all. Had to get the kids straightened out. All right. So Dr. Richard Hansen announces the results of the 2-year study that employed a high precision radar survey method called LADAR that led to them of the groundbreaking conclusion that the Mayan civilization of El Mirador in Guatemala, Pitin developed the world's first superhighways. They developed the world's first superhighway systems well before 150 BCE. This is very critical when it gets to some of our scientific breakthroughs, man. So how many of y'all knew that y'all had superhighways in America before anyone? Come on, man. This information alone is worth value, man. Come on, man. This information alone. I dropped this superhighway shit about 3 years ago. Y'all can go check it out on my channel. We dropped this about 3 years ago, but I know we got new people coming into the information. There's new people on the channel. There's new people coming to this enlightenment. So I want some of this stuff will be repetitive. So for those that have heard these particular information, bear with me. All right, so sure, Europeans' colonial legacies probably has you thinking back to heady days of the Roman Republic. Now, I told y'all earlier that the only people that had superhighways was the Romans. Before the Romans, it was Aborigines. Did y'all know that the ancestors of the Romans were called Aboriginals? How many of y'all knew that in the chat? Did y'all know that the Romans, the ancestors of the Romans, the forefathers of the Romans were called Aboriginals? Did y'all know that? I want to know if you guys in the chat know that. Huh? How many of you guys knew that? How many of you guys knew that the Romans' ancestors in the etymology dictionary says that they were Aboriginal? I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Hold on. Let's see if we can pull this up. All right, so listen, we're gonna look up the etymology definition dictionary of the word Aboriginals, Aborigines. We're gonna look for it, and listen, it says in the own damn thing that they are the Romans themselves. The Aborigines. I mean, not the adjective, but the fucking noun. Now, I want y'all to read this. I'm gonna put this on the screen as big as I can. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button, support the channel, man. It's your brother Aboriginal Power, and we're dropping Aboriginal history, man. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. If you're not, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'll do better next time. All right. So let's get into it, man. Ain't nobody dropping this shit like this, man. I'm gonna just keep it real. Look at this. Earliest times. Aborigine, the noun, right? It said from Latin, Aborigines, first inhabitants, especially from Latin, hence the first ancestors of the Romans. How you think the Romans built highways without having Aboriginal science? I didn't say it. The etymology online dictionary says the first ancestors, the Aborigines, right? First inhabitants of the Romans was the Aborigines. I mean, what else? I mean, am I reading wrong? The first ancestors of the Romans, possibly a tribal name or made from confirm of Latin. You see what I'm saying? Like, what else do I need to say? Case closed. Rome was in America, nigga. Oh, what I'm trying to tell y'all, they got it all twisted. They didn't give you the Sugarfoot story, and now we over here trying to deal with it. All right. So they just said that the superhighways revered the ones that the Romans had. We just looked up and said that the Romans' ancestors was Aborigines. So let's move on. All right. They built glorious histories and didn't even have a complex 150-mile long systems of 17 highways to transport goods across the cohesive political unit within a population totaling over 1 million. So they built 17 highways, and each highway's estimated, and they add all these miles up to over 150 miles worth of highways. 17 different highways for over 1 million people. El Mirador's political cohesiveness spread over more than 1,300 square miles, leading Henson to declare it as first states in Americas. You're looking at the first states with highways, man. You're looking at some of the first states with highways. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's get into it. Remember what we just said? Latin, Latham, Roman, Aborigines. Let's get into some more. We ain't done. We cooking up, man. I want y'all to hit that like button. Drop them fire emojis. Support the channel. Don't let Mound City Mellow be the only one to support, man. We got the $5 challenge in effect. We got 118 likes. We looking good in here on the likes. Thank y'all. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let's continue to live, y'all. Nevertheless, El Mirador has consistently been overshadowed by his more glamorous neighbor, Pacal, right? We just got off of Pacal, which at present day is the largest excavated archaeological site in Latin America. Latin, right? For its part, El Mirador site is covered by dense jungle vegetation and only accessible by foot or mule, though Henson insisted that the area contains undiscovered cities that would dwarf Pacal in scale. All right. The group's research also just suggests that El Mirador contained a system of large pens that may represent the world's first industrial meat production operation. Nigga, you had a factory for you had a butchery factory, a butch plant, or you murdering and chopping and processing meat in a place where they said 20 people could live, 1,000 people. You find evidence of 1 million people in the Amazon. You're finding evidence of 150 miles worth of super highways. You're finding scientific breakthrough you're finding scientific breakthrough with agricultural science being implemented thousands of years ago in America. Okay. The group researched that they carry out the first industrial meat production operations carried out within nation level. Through such hypotheses are yet to be proven. Okay. Lack of excavation is what they're saying. All right. So we ain't gonna get into that. They talking about tours and shit like that. Get into some more information in just a second. Make sure y'all just bear with me, man. Y'all need to bear with me. Hang on. Just give me a second, you guys. We're on our way, goddamn. We're on our way. What the fuck is this? All right. I apologize about that. Hold on. Well, I believe that's it. What I got on for today's show. I believe that's all I have for today's show. We're gonna get into some of the things found in Pacal. We'll get into some of that in just a second. Shout out to everybody in the building. I was gonna get into the Purple Vu, but I said it for another live stream. I'll keep this one short and sweet. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. I will open up the call-in lines for those that come in. Shout out to Rodney Lewis once again. Shout out to Rodney Lewis for the $5 cash out donation. We really appreciate that. Shout out to Rodney Lewis. For those that's in the chat, in the chat. Make sure y'all show my boy Rodney Lewis some love for supporting the channel, man. I will drop the link for anybody want to come on and ask questions. We're not going to really do a build. I don't want to jump around the information I just put out, so I will allow questions for today's segment in class. I will allow the call-in number to be used. The call-in number is on the screen, so call in as you feel. It's your chance to come chop it up, ask questions, shout to anybody, or if you just want to add to, if it's something that I missed, perhaps hit the link or call in, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. And if y'all enjoy today's live stream, drop a fire emoji. And we'll be doing episodes every day dealing with information. We're gonna keep them short and sweet, get straight to the information, and it's gonna be fire. Shout out to everybody in the building. I just gave y'all non-stop information, no stopping hardly, straight reading, straight getting to the sources, straight giving it to you. And so hopefully you guys enjoy it. Shout out to Brown's Flat Power. Shout out to everybody in the building. The link is in the chat. Come build with your brother. I'm waiting to be on another episode of Triggers too for Brown's Flat Power. I'm waiting to be on another episode of Triggers. Shout out to everybody in the building. The Popo Food, Aztec similar to the scriptures and ground raw. Hey man, hey, come on and build with me, brother. My Hebrew Israelite brother from the Delaware area. The Delaware. Or the Mashpi. Or the Lenny Lenape. I'm just not lighting my backwood up. Haven't even had a chance to light my backwood up, you guys, because I'm doing so much reading. You cannot smoke and read at the same time. I'm just going to tell you guys that. Flat out. When Moors and Islam was ruling the world, were Aboriginals part of the empire or no? Absolutely. Moors and Islam is just religious sectors and titles for them to identify as at that particular time. Just understand those people that represented that had this particular science was all intertwined. They came from the same spot, and nor did they call them those terms that they identify as today. So yeah, those people was around. Yes, absolutely. Carbon Crowns. Shout out to you. Yep. So any more questions? Let's get some more questions for some brothers and sisters in here. Glad you said that. No, absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Absolutely, brother. We got Alabama in here. We got brother.
Copper colored grizzly.
What's
Keep
going
them
on,
running.
Yeah, what's going on with it, brother? How you feeling?
Hey, I saw you and him walking in the pain. Brother, you've been doing yeoman's work, my young brother. I may not have admitted that to you or thank you much for inviting me to be on your panel or in your presence. I certainly appreciate it. When we are discussing who we be in 2023, what's the significance for you, my young brother?
Well, my mission statement hasn't deferred. Excuse me.
That asteroid's backing up on you,
man. They're punching on these motherfucking lungs, man. Hey, I have not deferred from my initial mission statement. My initial mission statement is to wake up brothers and sisters that is in America that has been victims of colonialism and indoctrination. One of the main forefronts of indoctrination is taking away who you are, what you have done, folkways, traditions, and mores. I'm here to restore these back to the victims of colonialism, which happen to be indigenous Aboriginal people, whether they know that or not. So my importance is showing contributions and science and innovation of our ancestors here.
How, do you feel that people expressing things in the context of white supremacy is confusing the situation?
Absolutely, when you have the confines of the system of education being set up by these people at best. Yes, they do. But they also get into their own thing, which they like to brag and boast. This is how we find most serial killers. Most serial killers like to brag. They like to be caught. They like to talk about the things that they did. And oftentimes in literature, sometimes even within the lie, they seem that they can't be refrained from telling some of the truth and hidden things that they want to keep hidden. They put this in literature as well. We have to do the decipher.
I don't know what approach you might want to choose to do, but let me share what I'm picking up on from Chief, which I find amusing, whether it's a tactic or not. He approaches asking people, "Are you a racist?" Now, some might think that that's a trap. They're trying to catch them on something by asking the question. But whether a person calls themselves black or white, let me preface it this way with an example. Are you familiar with the judgment and the ruling for black farmers that was supposed to attempt, I hate using the word reparations, but remunerations and restitution?
Yes, the 40 acres and the mule, right?
No, I mean those who already own their own land.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't want to go.
About
Yeah,
them
I don't
getting
want to go
paid
into that.
about them getting paid not to produce certain crops and shit like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, them not being paid while the alleged white farmers were being paid, or whatever they were being paid, which you want to compare it to sharecropping or not, being paid less. And I could go into there are a number of examples, if you know about the USDA and the Department of Agriculture, that did some things that were not just underhanded, but were targeted. Now, when it was to where you familiar with the Pickford situation?
Yeah,
Pickford
somewhat. Go ahead.
that was the all-encompassing claim. So now, and this happened under Obama for those Negroes who are African American or believe that they have some blackness to lay claim to, of being aggrieved and done harm. When the ruling was passed, and this is known by the same court system, and it's court system ruling against a federal agency, so it's the criminal being charged by the outlaw, right? When the award, now this is supposed to be a judgment, and to agree that penalty has been done and that restitution must be paid, the white farmers then filed a discrimination suit, and the ruling was either suspended or put on hold. You see how the trick works? See, well, Malcolm called it tricknology. I call it trick-a-nigga-nology. You see? So now, if you call yourself black, if you say you're aggrieved to being black, does not it require you to be in proximity to something that is considered white? And calling oneself black is as racist as calling oneself white is racist. Is the point that Chief is trying to make by asking the question, are you a racist? If you call yourself black or white, you are equally racist. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, the takeaway that any person that wants to practice economic foundation and funding and strength within a community and say that they're not racist will be absurd. I believe all cultures that practice economic stability within their own confounds practice racism first, which
Is that so, or is that preference? Now,
I,
if you prefer to put yourself first, that's called self-preservation, right?
yeah, and like I said, within social construct is considered racism. Within economic and other boundaries, like you said, it's called self-preservation.
Now, when we're talking about, and this is kind of like double speak, Bap, but Racism, the simplest thing I can say to for those that are listening, is prejudice plus power. Now, people are bigoted. You know, you're preferential, you're prejudicial. You prefer something over something else, a color, a taste. You like pork, I like steak. You feel what I'm saying? That's a preference. That's preferring something over something else. But you're not necessarily negatively impacting it, except, let's say, remember the mad cow shit that Oprah got spanked on? She made some negative preferences and discussions about mad cow, which is a negative thing, right? But mad cow disease is a real thing. It's a thing, right? But they ran her up the flagpole and was ready to put her head on a spike because of the negative impact it cost the beef industry. You feel me? But it wasn't necessarily a prejudicial thing that she did. All she did was express an opinion. But the reaction costs something, right? Then you started getting into the issue of capitalism. Now, when it comes to us, where do our preferences impact negatively any other group? That's the people who raise this false premise that there's such a thing as black racism, comparing it to white supremacy. Notice there's two different things. People will like to use the quote from Dr. King, misappropriated, exclaiming that black supremacy is as dangerous as white supremacy. First and foremost, you have to show me hundreds of years of black mobs going and killing white people and burning down white churches and killing white babies, like the 4 that died on my 5th birthday in Birmingham. How many incidents would you say
I feel
need
like
to be shown? But bear me out. I'll land my plane on this, Bap. How many incidents of seemingly violent behavior, murder, and something similar to the Negro Project and extermination that is directed exclusively to or towards so-called white people by so-called black people? That's what they call false equivalency. You feel me?
no, you're absolutely right, and there's levels to this shit, and to get into these intersections takes a other set strides to be put in place before we start working on these particular factors. That's almost like not being in political footing, but trying to readjust penal codes. You understand what I'm saying? It's impossible. It's an unlimited fee. You see what I'm saying? You have to get into position to be able to alter these particular things. And
And institute policies and have
right,
it targeted exclusively towards a particular group.
right.
There is no comparison and nowhere you can show supposedly melanated people that are disenfranchising or outright committing
I'm
genocide
with you.
towards people we call white, Caucasian, European, or pale skin.
I'm with you. And like I said, the political step is a prominent step, and it's the main factor to get shit done on behalf of what we need. And so, in order to get into political setting, to make political moves, we need economic footing, which is one of the main things we lack. So I believe it's a process, and I believe things have to be done in a step order. And I believe we need to get the stepping.
That's almost sounding like which comes first, the chicken or the egg.
Well, no, it ain't which one
Now,
came. It ain't about which one
no,
comes first.
no, no. I meant about when you're talking about economics versus political, which you already know we're being pimped with a voting agenda currently that shows a powerless position because we don't buy politicians. It's called lobbying, but you know what
Yeah,
that
and the
is.
reason we don't is because we don't have enough organization. We don't have criminal organization companies that's strictly allocated towards Negro groups. There's no international crime ring or organization crime syndicates that's black and from America. That doesn't happen. So and we know that, and to make political arrangements and to subdue with economic referrings, you will have to have some type of organizing. I don't believe, and then people could look at it like the chicken or the egg, but I think it's simple as this: you're not making political moves without economic footing. You're not even going to
Uh,
be able.
that we're the only community that is doing that. Now, if you were to compare that to the
Peace.
so-called Asian community,
Shout out
who
to
has what?
Shout
Less
out to
than 2
brothers.
to 5% population position. If you would compare it, whether it's to the, the other 3-letter community or the Asian community, both are in the minority of 5% or less as a population. Why do they have inordinate political influence and actual power? Now, you already know what happened with the Stop Asian Hate. People really keep, and I'll wrap up on this because
Well, the
I'm
reason
sick of people.
they able to Asians
Just hear me out.
able to make
Hear me out. Hear me out for a
Hold on,
second,
before
man.
you go, I just want to have a conversation, and we're gonna move slow because you said something about the Asian hate. The reason they're able to make these such political stridents and acts is because of economic footing.
I agree with that to a point too, man. But another thing you gotta remember too now, they have a contract with the so-called United States. They got a peace of friendship contract with the United States that protects them. So when they come here as free white persons in law. We
How
the
many
only people in the world.
What foreigners come over here as free whites or whites in general?
Anyone to have a contract with America, King.
So that means one's from Africa, one's from Jamaica, one's from Europe, one's from Australia, one's from fucking Tanzania. They all come over at the same status, correct?
You remember that dude that came from Egypt and came here and tried to say he was black and he had to go, he tried to sue somebody. It was a court case behind it. He was trying to claim to be black.
Talking about the Indian dude? He Indian?
No, it was an Egyptian dude.
Yeah, the Egyptian dude. Yeah, he tried to go to school, he tried to get the grants and all that shit. Yeah.
He couldn't know. You know why? Because according to his status is based on where he's from, his nationality. And
he tried to lie about his status, right? He tried to lie about his status.
I mean, he couldn't fall in that category.
Yeah, they took all his grants back and everything. Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
That sounds like an example of double dipping. So he comes in here. He's given Caucasian status or actual white on documents. Whether hold on, bear with me for just a second. Whether it's a work visa, student visa, or whatever document it is, there's a certain status, we call it white or whatever. Then when he gets inside the system, he wants to navigate blackness by his skin tone or complexion. So that sounds a bit to me like double that I was making.
Yeah, but see, you gotta understand.
Because here, think of this for a moment. This is disturbing to me. Aboriginal power. No one discusses how the immigrant community gets
Hold on, Alabama. Hold on. I think Dog was.
They get tax-free status for 7 years. Alabama, they then also get lines of credit.
I don't think you can hear. I think Dolphins was trying to say something, brother. I don't think you can hear. I think you might be on the delay. Go ahead, brother.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because they're free white persons. So the credit system, they'll be adjusted to that, man. They have a contract with America or United States, and they have a status as free white person. Same status that your ancestors had. For some reason, we start calling ourselves something that made us civil little mortals. And as long as we call ourselves this nationality, we will be continue to be civil little mortals. And I don't care what you try to do, it's basic law. We all know this. Sometimes we get emotional attachments to these terms. And these terms is what's killing us. That's why we can't connect to what our ancestors did. As a so-called black person, King, you can't even inherit land. As a so-called Indian, you can't even inherit land unless it's on a reservation. Our ancestors did not use those statuses. That's why they did what they did, and we can't do what they did. And we're not connecting to them. Status and standing is everything, King. And it's based on the nationality. There's nothing wrong with that term black. Don't get me wrong. We call each other that all we want. But we're dealing with legal jargons and illegal contracts.
Yeah, when we're dealing with legal constructs, that must be eradicated. It must be dispelled from the conversation in any form. But in social construct, all terms can be used, which are identifying classification.
And we're dealing with each other. And we use that as an adjective.
Can I add something?
But
yes, you can, Superman. You got the floor. Go ahead, brother.
Only thing I really want to add is it ain't the pale face. That's a hoax. It's somebody behind them, and they look like us. As long as we focus on the pale face and what they doing, they've been put up to this. We gonna lose. We gotta root these people out of our community and point the finger and make sure we know who they are, because that's the only way they keep infiltrating us.
I believe. My bad. Go ahead, Superman. My bad.
Nah, go ahead. You got it.
No, I believe you're right, and I believe that it is a black nobility. It is of old ancestral understanding behind the pale skins. And once we have a clear understanding to how this all came about, who are the players that's in the field and how they get here, okay. But at the same time, we got to deal with what's constructed in front of us immediately. It's no longer the pale skin that's directly in front of us causing issues. They use other foreign people that's contracted with them up under the umbrella of colonization to be in our communities now. There's no longer them. So we must be aware of that as well.
Exactly. We got to find out what these people are doing that we're not doing. I mean, it's simple. If everybody else getting benefits, but we're not getting benefits, we got to find out what in the fuck are they doing to get benefits compared to what we're doing, correct?
I believe now we're just now starting to understand that, and then it has been people out on the forefront laying down these particular pathways and getting success out of this. And this is why we have these conversations of correction status. This is why we have these conversations of understanding what civility mortuus is, or what a 1666 Sexecute Act is. This is why these things are very important now.
Very important, King. Listen, you just don't know how important. Well, I know you know, but a lot of people just don't know how important it is, man. And our ancestors understood that. And we put ourselves in a position to fail. And we claim to be losers. If you go and stand in front of a motherfucking group of people, dog, and say, listen, I am a slave. And now you're complaining because people treat you like a slave. It sounds crazy, don't get me wrong.
And that's what we constantly hearing from brothers that's under this heavily indoctrinated cloak that they're not able to come from up under. And we got a 702 area code. State your name, where you calling from. Shout out to you.
What up, baby? This Cobb from Vegas.
What's up, Cobb?
What up?
What's going on with you?
I was listening to y'all, and he just asked the question, like, what is the resolve?
Right.
Our resolve is different from anybody else. Because like the gentleman was saying, like, you know, white or black is racist. That makes sense, because the actuality is, you got two people here on this land. You got Americans, and then you have citizens.
Right.
That's the issue. We have lost the right to say American.
That's what they did. They took you from America, right? That's the slavery story. They took you from America, right? Pat you on a citizenship and brought you to the United States of. That's simply what happened.
But I'm saying it's only because people like we so into education that we done figured out fucked up with common sense. Common sense tell you in 1968 when we became U.S. citizens, that was the fuck up legally, and they knew it. We were born. I was born a Negro American, an American Negro.
Hey, I was born even worse. I was born an African American, bro.
How about trip your boy out, right? And it just sound weird.
Hold on, dog. He can't hear you. Go ahead, brother. My bad.
You see what I'm saying? You gotta understand. Okay, look. In '68, when they turned us into citizens, it took them a couple of years to change the birth certificate. I was born in '70. I'm right on the cutoff. If your birth certificate said Negro, you are automatically an American. Period. All right, look at it like this. In '68 is when we became citizens as a group, right? So who the fuck did Muhammad Ali represent in the United States of America Olympics? He couldn't have represented the United States. He wasn't a legal citizen.
Correct.
So he had to naturally be born an American to wear that jersey.
I'm with you.
You understand how simple that is?
I check it out. I'm about to fuck your head up, right? And it gonna make, listen, It might fuck with you for a second though, but do some research on it. These crackers copyrighted the term America. They trademarked and
Hey,
copyrighted
brother,
the term
I'm gonna let you listen in on the
the
call, brother.
early
So I'm not too
1800s.
early. So you hear me? Hit the link to come on if you want to.
No, I'm good on the call right here. I'm good. I hear everything.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get you off so I can mute it so there ain't no feedback, so you can listen to the conversation. I want you to be.
All right, for sure.
But so if you want to hit the link, you can come on and engage more or call back in. However you want to do it, brother.
All right, for sure.
All right, peace. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
This term America was copywritten and trademarked in the early 1800s or late 1700s. Listen, I was told that, and I did a lot of research, and I never found the exact copywritten thing. But just pay it. You're a researcher. Research that, man. The term America wasn't ever copywritten or trademarked. Because you pay attention in the early 1800s, the dictionary Webster came out with, and pay attention to how the jargon it said, but now applies to these certain people. These people trademarked that name. The same thing the Jews did. The same thing these so-called Native Americans did.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's social jargon that applies to legal construct. And so what they're talking about is ultimately thieving something, stealing something, and have legal receipts to back why and to imply.
And nobody ever contested it.
Nobody ever contested until now.
We got to contest that. If we don't contest that, we'll always bump heads when we use these terms. Unless we got an adjective applied to it. So if you the term American, you got to have an adjective applied to it.
Listen, bro.
What kind of American you talking about?
Listen, bro. You keep saying pale facing. The court case just came out where the Egyptian man tried to be.
Yeah, that's
black.
true, garbage. We got to switch that out of our minds. We got to get pale out of the minds that during these particular times. We got to.
Right, because then you're going to lose focus and you're going to keep getting beat.
We know it wasn't the amount of crackers that was heard, right? And we know the ones that was heard for servitude. They was heard for their literal title as Slavs, right?
Exactly.
From 1820 to 1970, you got 3 million of them been imported.
Exactly. That's question right there.
Okay, Bab, hold on, Bab.
If you're a farmer,
right there. Hold on.
Hold
on. 1820 to 1970. That's what you just stated, right, Bab?
Yeah.
That's 150 years exactly. Give that number again. You said something about 30 million?
Yeah, 3 million. 3 million of course slaves came in and was accepted into what we call American Indian status.
Okay, so
I'm just talking. Listen, there was over 30 million that came in during this particular time, but 3 million.
That's what I want to keep the numbers straight. What you're saying. So you're saying 30 million in immigration, 3 million in the Dawes roll, and $5 frauds. Is that what you're saying?
Facts.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I just wanted to bring focus to what I thought I heard you say, but go ahead.
So what I'm saying is during this whole bargain where we're talking about bad deals, it couldn't have been the influctuation of pale skins because the influctuation didn't come till a certain time frame. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Now let me put another slight log on this fire. I asked this before with A1, and probably the last time I was talking with you young brothers, about Amani Bey made a statement. Now, his particular agenda is what he calls it, is land reclamation, okay? He says in all the clients that he interacts with, he cannot find who we call pale skin, Caucasoid, or European, foreign invaders. Before the 1920s, in attempting to create these fake deeds and this supposed, whether you want to call it squatters' rights agenda, they cannot be shown before then, so they have no genealogy.
Well, yeah, there's no literature. You got them only arriving on boats as scavengers in the late 1800s, all the way up to 1920. 1920, after them settling here, they go through something that's called a depression. They're not making it here. You understand? This is documented.
The Great Depression. that gave us the Great War. Is that what
Yeah,
you're saying?
that's less than 10 years after them settling here.
Right. And
Okay.
then remember that colony they had up in the northeast where the motherfuckers started eating each other and cannibalizing
Are
each
you
other?
talking about Roanoke?
They
No,
can't do
we're
it.
talking about Powhatan's, the Powhatan particular.
Well, there was Powhatan as well, but I think Roanoke fell under that jurisdiction of
Well,
what
no,
we call
we're not talking
Powhatan
about the
today.
Roanoke people. I
But
think they're talking about literally John Ross and his particular settlers
yeah,
came here during the starving time. They call it the starving time, uh, which is a great segment of history that y'all need to look into. It shows how restraining and restricting yourself from pale skins could be a benefit to you, but also a non-benefit to them, and shows the decline to the point where they started eating their own children, even dead that they had buried. Prey. So yeah,
Now, Bap, let me make certain that I heard what you said correctly. The 3 million you're talking about is Elizabeth Warren, per se, not the Mongoloid hybrids, Asians.
not when we're talking late 1800s and early 1900s. Which that's not what I'm talking
Okay, so
about. Hold on. I want to make this clear. There are an influation of those people as well, and you're seeing them paraded around in the world's fairs that's taking place in the late 1800s, all the way up to the.
now would that be the Chinos through the Pacific slave trade? And what a timeline are we talking about with this Mongoloid hybrid?
Well, the
That
Pacific
becomes the Native American.
Going to happen in 1400s. So we're going to deal with like colonial Mexico, the enslaving of the so-called Asians in colonial Mexico, not which is obviously, I guess, a result of the Pacific slave trade. Excuse me.
right. And that's what I'm saying.
So which are we talking? I mean, I'm trying to keep the conversation straight. We got parallel paths here.
I'm talking
What
about
what is a mestizo? What is a Mongoloid Asian hybrid? And who are these people that they're calling Native American, quote unquote?
They live and they operate under the status of Indian.
And that's like three different questions.
But they all operate under that status Indian.
Those are all the same people, just giving different.
But listen,
names.
what's funny is they all do operate up under the status Indian. The mestizo operates under the status Indian. The pale skin operates up under the status Indian. And we know through the book and the literature of colonial Asians enslaved and colonial Mexicans, from Chinos to Indians, they also use that title as well.
But they had a recent study come out, and they found that most of them pale faces not even from Europe. They originated in Asia somewhere.
I agree with that too. But when they're here, they're operating under that status Indian.
Well, okay, hold on, Darvis. At that point right there, are you saying that they are Siberians, Slavs, or a combination of the two? Because now we got two groups of Siberians.
What I'm saying, King, is when it comes to law, is irrelevant.
Listen, no, fuck the ethnicity. A motherfucker from Hindustan is going to be classified as an Indian, right? They using Indian rights. Literally, they get non-tax like that. You got East Indians literally operating that Indian Act here right now. You got pale skins who's operating Indian acts right now. They got casinos, they getting grants, they get funded, they're the head of the nations that some of you guys even claim, right? And then you have Native American Asians who's claiming it. So-called people who's claiming that they are the OMAC, that's not of your stock. People that you could call a Mexican today. People that you would call a Native American today. These are different people, all operating under the same shit. And you do have variations where these people.
Not only that, they copywritten and trademark the term.
All you got to do is look up what is the Alaskan Native Act, and that'll explain everything. Title 25.
And you know, during the Obama administration, he removed Negro, transferred Black, and elevated African American. Then, under American Indian, added Native American, I'm using air quotes, through Alaska Native, and Asian American Pacific Islander.
Right. That's
so circling back to the Stop Asian Hate thing. because I wanted to wrap up what I was saying about the Stop Asian Hate. People think that they put a hate crime bill in for Asians. They did not. It was an actual extension of the CARES Act, the most recent one that was authorized. They slid in a supposed hate crimes penalty targeting Asian American Pacific Islanders in that act. Now, what I'm very interested by, and maybe you respond to this, Bap, the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill was supposedly made law last year. Can any of you brothers tell me when the first lynching is going to be prosecuted? And I yield.
Man, the way I'm looking,
we did it.
The way I'm looking at this, man, really fuck what they doing in Congress and the laws that they passing, dealing with these different skin colors and skin tones and ethnicities. That's just part of war. And if you're looking at it and you up close to it and you get emotional about it, you can't step back and really see the big picture.
Yeah, but King, listen though, we have to understand this. It's chess. Everybody ain't pawns.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. The ethnicities are the pawns.
The king and the queen got to understand the game.
Right. The pawns are the different ethnicities.
The queen don't understand the game. You can lose off the top. You can be the best fighter in the world.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying.
You call yourself a loser, King, in front of everybody.
No. I'm not saying call yourself anything.
The word in the law. Because that's our main issue. We use these terms without understanding the definition in law.
You getting caught in the net, brother. Listen to what I'm trying to say. Listen to what I'm saying.
We ain't getting caught in the net,
for a second?
We cast the net.
Can I listen? Can I?
My bad. Go ahead, King.
You getting caught in the net. Those laws don't apply to us. Stay away from that shit. Can I finish,
bro? The reason why we at, King, because of those laws. That's why we at, King.
Can I finish,
we didn't call ourselves these things.
Hey, hold on, David. Let him get it out.
I'm saying that law don't apply to us. We are the Aboriginals. Those laws apply to the people that we contracted to do business on our land. That those color schemes, that other caste system, that's outside of us. We go by natural law, and we're trying to separate ourselves from that corporation. All those laws and bylaws are there for the operation of that corporation. We're not part of that corporation, so separate yourself from it and stop dealing with the shit. That's the only way you can win is get out of the game.
Finish?
Go ahead.
All right, cool. I respectfully, King, right? Listen. Your ancestors came up with this corporation. It was your ancestors who were what they call the free white persons. It was your ancestors that came up with these particular statuses. We were the one doing trade, King. These people came and took my grandmama, your grandparents' corporation over. Now, don't get me wrong. It's easy to say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go sit in the goddamn woods for the rest of my goddamn life. I ain't going to deal with none of that there. And we be in the same situation we in now. Somebody going to have to say, you know what? That's my fucking grandparents' shit, which make it mine. They played this game. They wrote this game. They made this game.
Well, can I offer a little pushback?
We gotta take the game back because it's ours.
Can I offer a little pushback on that?
What, King?
We didn't give away shit. It's war. They infiltrated our family. They married into our family and started doing dirty deals with their brothers and sisters and selling off our shit. That's what I'm trying to say. It's all an attack. We didn't do shit. They came over here and saw us doing what we was doing, living good, and they attacked us by all different facets, with the food, with the education, with the marriage, with all these fucking contracts and shit. You gotta remember what happened when these people came here and did what they did. They hung us, the leaders of the tribe or whatever you want to name it, they hung them. moved into the family.
I
We got
don't believe
taxes.
that happened though. I don't believe that happened.
King, I'm
I'm
gonna tell you what
I'm
happened,
saying,
King.
look,
We stopped studying
look
the law.
at wait, look at what's her name? Benny Mason up in California when they try to take her land rights and marry her off to one of these foreigners.
Now that happened, but a lot of this stuff happened willingly. I know first different cases where it wasn't forcefully. You know what I'm saying?
Not
It
even the
wasn't
truth.
forcefully done. Certain situations. Listen, what I'm saying, these old victim stories,
We've been
my
doing that shit
ancestors
too
ain't go.
fucking
I don't
long,
got
and we
I don't
sound
got
like
none of
some
them
fucking
stories
coward to
passed
our
down
kids.
from.
Crying too much. There's hours. All we gotta do is sit back and learn law. These crackers is not using karate. They ain't using wrestling. They ain't boxing. They don't even got no fucking guns. They're using them against us. They're using law against us, King. And it's our responsibility to learn it so we can
Right.
compete.
That's the
I
definition
agree.
of a cold war.
I agree with it.
Exactly.
I agree. But the Cold War got real results, right?
Well,
So
we
Because
that's
never
we
said
losing.
it's not called a fake war. It's called a cold war. It's just not.
right,
It's not as physical as what is alluded as what war is. It's more of
right,
a court battle instead of a physical battle.
right. And I agree with that. But the number one
But according to
element
status, though,
of
King, according to law,
I
they
know,
got
but
to
I'm
have a certain
saying
kind of status
I know, but listen
that
what
they
I'm
don't
saying.
have.
One of the best or the most effective tools in war is deception, right? So that's what they're using mostly is deception.
Nigga, they ain't using that.
So why
We
they
use
changing the
we use
status?
secrecy.
Why do they keep changing the status
They
and
ain't changing it, King.
redefining you?
They're
They
not
do. They
changing.
just did
You
it. They
defining
just did it.
yourself. These crackers ain't never call you that. They send
Man,
an
they
agent
called
in there
us
to get us to
black,
call ourselves
African
that.
American. They did the
Yeah, but
black,
they
the
sent
African
somebody in here
American, the
to make us call ourselves
Negro.
that, though, King. We called
I'm not.
ourselves that.
No, we
They didn't call no
didn't.
different.
We called
Yeah,
ourselves
it
after
was
that.
always a Negro leading the rest of the niggas that called it that. With African
Exactly.
Exactly.
American color, it was never them. It was your people who did it from the start.
That's what I'm
Exactly.
saying. Them are not our people. Those are the infiltrators. Them the people that's keeping us looking at the pale face and pointing the finger at them.
The problem is, King, is our fault. You a fucking god, King, especially on this land. But until
It's
you claim
not.
your status, right? Follow me. Until you claim your status, then you keep this land in the
Uh,
same trust.
okay, look at it
And we
like this.
protecting us under trust. Because the
Look,
people that
check it
own
out.
the beneficiary never claimed it.
I
Until the
understand the
beneficiary
law part, and
claimed,
we got to
they got
learn that. I understand we got to learn that part, and that's the way out of it. But
exactly.
I'm saying, look at it as like nature, natural shit. If we got some shit and these people are lacking, they're gonna naturally want to come attack us. I'm not blaming them for attacking us because if I was a pale face, I'd probably be doing the same shit.
These crackers ain't attack us, King.
But I'm saying the dark
King,
skinned people over there that put them
Trying to get
pale faces up.
King, we decide that we don't want to box no more. And decide to lay down and ball up in the fucking knot. And everybody else walked over us.
That
That's
way,
what's
you can
going
look
on,
at it
King.
from that. You can look at it from that perspective. I'm just looking
Yeah.
at it from a different perspective.
Yeah, that was because salute, shout out to the panel, to the channel, and to the chat. Yeah, that was because niggas had started accepting these laws and religious, and the laws was based off the religious principles and or precepts. Right now, these are not our laws, bro, because they all based on these biblical and Quranic scriptures, precepts, and all that. And these are not our laws, and
They all
those
up, King.
precepts. Hold on, bro. Just be cool. These all these precepts and principles are convoluted. That's why we don't resonate with them. If it was our law, we would resonate with it. That's why niggas find it so difficult to listen to you niggas talking about learn this law. Learn it for what? It's not our law. We don't because we don't benefit off of it. That's how we know it's not ours.
Right.
Right there.
Right, because once you
And
start playing that
not only
law
that,
game,
bro. I'm sorry, but I didn't want to step on you, but I wanted to not just co-sign with what Smoke is saying. This is not an either-or proposition, Darvis. Just hold on for a second. This is a both and all-inclusive strategy we must take. Those who hold dear to whatever position you're having, that's you. As the colloquial phrase that people want to say in the community, you do you, boo. But in the interim, as we become aware and wake up, all of this shit is ours. And this shit has to be dismantled. First of all, the operating process of the existing system was never designed for us. It was by our ancestors for them. See, we got this whole thing
Right.
flipped and
You
twisted.
only law.
The whole context, let me finish. I'll land my plane on this. The whole context of the Constitution and everything that draws from it was them being constrained in how they're supposed to function, interacting with us in harmony on our land. They've already broken that, showing their evil character. So when we keep talking about stuff, we're talking about our ancestors doing something that A, we're not familiar with and cannot speak for those who are dead. B, it was not for us, the descendants and the posterity. It was for the criminals and to eventually be used to hold them in check. And I yield.
Cool. All right, listen. I'm from the South, gang. I don't know. I'm not sure where y'all boy from, whatever, how y'all look at these things. I'm from the South. I understand these basic laws. Back here, we understand our ancestors understood these laws. Our ancestors set up this government. We some fucking cowards. We sit there and cry about how somebody hit us in our fucking mouth. Somebody on motherfucking punches in our lip. Ain't nobody giving no water spit out. My fucking ribs hurting. Meanwhile, these slaves that we had that was once us, watching us get beat up by each other until we quit. And they came and claimed our shit. The same slave that your people brought here to work on their farms. They claiming the land because we fell into a state of depression. Stop aside and learn. We don't want to read. We focus on how we've been hurt. And we losing focus of law. It's our fault. Our kids don't got shit going on. We fucking men. I'm tired of hearing men cry.
Man,
if your ancestors own all the fucking land, go back and get it.
I'm not disputing what you're saying. I'm saying
when it comes down to law, when you look at the law, these people they call white people in law are not Caucasians. If you look the word up in law, King, it explains to you they are not Caucasians.
Bro, it don't matter. It don't matter what they are. No, it
does
don't.
matter, okay?
Why does it matter what? Hold on. Why does it matter what they are if we can clearly see? Hold on. What does it matter what they are when we can clearly see it's not working for us? Who gives a damn what they are? It's not working for us, but it seems to be working rather well. It seems to be working rather well for others, but it's not working for us. That's why I would never accept, right? I would never accept a suggestion that I should apply something that don't work for me. It's like you asking me to put some goddamn some damn anthrax on a damn cold sore or something. That ain't gonna work for me, bro. That might work for somebody, but that ain't gonna work for me. The Constitution don't work for niggas, bro. The Declaration of Independence,
I agree with that, gang.
Yeah, I know, but you suggesting that we learn the precepts of it and start applying it. Now, once they change that shit, it's no longer yours anymore. If you allowed it to be, if you allowed it to be changed, it's no longer yours. It belongs to whoever implemented the changes. You just got to accept that, bro. That's not a hard concept to understand. If you allowed it to be changed, that means it's not for you anymore. It's for whoever changed it. It works for them people.
King, the law never changed, though, King.
Yes,
it don't work for you because you don't.
Yes, it did.
You call yourself.
If the law benefited you and your people, and it no longer does.
Listen. Pull up on the screen, free white person in law, a free white person in law. Let's see what it said, King. You a white person. You call yourself
Okay,
then nigga. There's a status
We
from it.
not.
There's a
We
status
not white.
that was
We
set
not
with
white. Our status is above white.
calm down.
He's
There's
stretching.
statuses.
Darvin,
There's legal statuses. Everybody run up under.
Darvin, listen, bro. Our status trumps legal white people.
What's
We
your
not
status,
part.
What's your status?
I'm Aboriginal.
No, I'm talking on your ID card, nigga. Put your ID card up. Fuck what you say on YouTube. Put your ID card up there and tell me your ID card say Aboriginal. And I'll listen to that.
But what I
don't say Aboriginal, my nigga.
I know, but the Indigenous Rights Act says it don't matter what you carry around in your pocket.
It does, because
if you verbally identify yourself as what you are, that's what it is. It trumps all that paperwork. And that's what I'm trying to get you to understand.
No, okay, because that's a lie, okay? That's not accurate. That's not true. Not in law. In emotional view, it may be good, but emotion.
I'm talking about emotion. I'm talking about the Indigenous Rights Act that they just put out.
How can you get that apply that act to you if you call yourself a nigga?
I didn't call myself a nigga. I just said I'm an Aboriginal.
Cool. So when we talk about these laws and these acts, we got to understand how they apply, okay?
And that's what I'm trying to tell you. They don't apply to you.
Okay, you walk around with an identification card, whether it be a driver's license, whatever identification, and your identification card says African American, then that's your status, King.
All right, you keep saying that. If that's what you live by, that's cool, bro. I can't argue you down, but you can't tell me what I am.
If you understood,
I'm based on law. I'm not telling you what you are.
If you understood
law. Listen, we can get to the bottom of that right now. There's a perfect platform. AP got. I know he got a source.
Bro, if you understood anything about the law, you wouldn't even be walking around with no damn identification. Why would you even walk around with that?
Because you gotta identify yourself, man.
No, you gotta identify yourself.
You gotta make sure they understand you Aboriginal, King. You gotta identify yourself as Aboriginal, King.
Hold on.
If not, you just
hold on. Wait a minute. Who do you have mandatorily? Who do you have to identify to?
Contracts.
Come on, bro. A contract is a piece of paper, bro.
No,
a contract is a piece of paper, bro.
You put yourself under their authority. You put yourself under their authority when you carry that card around and you answer to them motherfuckers. You put yourself under their authority.
Listen. I understand on YouTube, we got the ability to build a persona. But I'm talking about in real life. When you jump in your car to go to the store, you're dealing with these laws, these ordinances, these statutes that don't dictate.
That's because we're under occupation. We're under occupation, bro. We're fucking prisoners of war. We're under occupation right now.
You ain't under none of that there, gang.
What you mean? What you mean I'm crying? What you mean I'm crying?
That's the only thing they got.
No, when you step into them people's courtroom, you step into their jurisdiction. Yes or no?
Listen, I know, but they don't have the status that you.
Yes or no? When you step into their courtroom, are you under their jurisdiction? Yes or no?
They don't have the status to adjudicate you.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. So if they don't have the status to adjudicate you, why in the fuck are you walking around with their ID in your pocket?
I know what I know now, so I don't go there no more.
So why you walking around with their ID in your pocket why you walking around with their ID in your pocket if you're not under their jurisdiction?
Because I gotta move in commerce. You got to do commerce, King.
That's what the LLC. That's what the LLC is for. I'm talking about your private person.
Nigga, my private
when you walking around in your private person, why do you have a ID in your pocket?
I don't got the ID in my pocket, King. I identify myself.
So if they pull up on you and they tell you to identify, what you gonna do?
Show them my identification and tell them who I am.
You gonna show them something you ain't walking around with in your pocket, brother?
I'll tell you what, give me 1 second. I'm gonna show you my ID. Because yes, I got an ID, but I don't have a state issue ID. But I do have a state issue ID if I decide I'm doing commerce. I have a business. So I have to have that if I'm operating that capacity. That's why I say you gotta pay attention. You gotta understand the law, King. That's the edge they got on us. They understand law, we don't.
I understand what you're
They got on
saying.
us.
That's cool, and I understand.
Y'all
So
have
I'm
the fuck
telling
you
you
want,
that
King.
I don't subscribe to that, and it's
You will
cool if you
always
do.
be there. Well, cool. And you will always be what you is. Where they look at you at, King. Because you never corrected it. It's not only your responsibility, nigga. It's your job to correct your status when you turn 18. When you become a majority, you become a man, it's your responsibility to do that.
The only thing
under who rule? Under who made that rule? Who made that rule?
A bunch of losers, my nigga.
Who made that rule that you go by?
That losers use.
Listen, dog. Who made that rule that you live by at 18? You do what you just said.
King. The whole world live by it, though, King.
I'm saying, who made the rule? Who made the rule?
Your ancestor, nigga, your great grandmama probably.
Man, my grandma ain't never told me no shit like that.
I know. I said your great.
Nah, then if they just pass it down, then how the fuck is they get to me?
Nah, you making shit up to support your argument now, man. Our great grandmama ain't did it. Bruh, our great grandmama, granddad, and them ain't did no shit like that. You making some shit up to you making some shit up. You making some shit up. Hold on. You making some shit up to support your argument, bro. Now what I'm have to do is I'm gonna have to ask you to prove that, bro. Prove that. Prove that our great grandma. Prove that, bro. That's all you gotta do. You making the assertion, prove it.
Nigga, I live like it. That's what I live with my
pull up the document that got some niggas on. Right. Pull up some documents that got niggas' names on it that made this shit up, bro. That's all you gotta do is just simple. Because if it was them, their names would be on them documents. They'll be the signers.
No, I had a pit bull like you, and this bastard would not fucking fight. I'm not listen. He had it in him, but he was just too scared when he faced up with another man. We just curl up in the fucking corner. I had to kill him.
All right, well then, wait. There, you saying we scared to fight? Who's the enemy?
The nigga standing across from you.
Man, you tripping. Who's the enemy? If we scared to fight, who's the enemy?
Crickets.
My bad. Say it again.
I said, we're scared to fight and you're fighting a good fight. Who is the enemy?
I'm not fighting no king. What I'm telling you, your enemy is your perception, the way they look at you, the way you call yourself, your status is what's fighting you. That's all I'm saying, King. Listen, what we got to start doing is understanding status and law.
Okay, so how do we attack the enemy? How do we approach? How do we start to attack the enemy or defend ourselves?
Identify yourself properly. Honor your mother and your father. Find out what they were doing when they were great. And find out how they identified themselves when they were great. And identify yourself with that. Because until then, you cannot claim that whatever they left.
Daddy, you like my blanket? Like my blanket?
I really don't understand what you're talking about, but hey, man.
I like that blanket. Yeah, I do.
I'm just confused, bro. I'm just confused. You saying we scared to fight, and then I asked you who the enemy is.
Hold on. Let's bring some context to the conversation, and I'm willing to get it in. So, can somebody feel like reading this on the screen?
Yeah, I'll read it.
Go ahead, brother. Let me put it on here big for you.
From Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, the Naturalization Act of 1790, enacted March 26, 1790, was a law of the United States Congress that set the first uniform rules for the granting of United States citizenship by naturalization. The law limited naturalization to free white persons of good character, thus Native Americans, indentured servants, enslaved people, free black people, and later Asians, Although free black people were allowed citizenship at the state level in many states, the courts also associated whiteness with Christianity and thus included Muslim immigrants from citizenship until the decision ex parte Mohoriez recognized citizenship for a Saudi Muslim man in 1944. Congress modeled the act on the Plantation Act of 1740 concerning time, oath of allegiance, the process of swearing before a judge, etc. You want me to go ahead? You want me to read some more? Okay, there was a 2-year residency requirement of the United.
Add clarity to what we just read if you want to, but yeah, you can read on. My bad.
Right. Well, y'all gonna have to add clarity because this is to me. This legalese talk is foreign to me. Right. Hold on, bro. I got you. Hold on, bro. Calm down. There was a 2-year residency requirement of the United States and 1 year in the state of residence before an alien would apply for citizenship by filing a petition for naturalization with any common law court of record having jurisdiction over his residence. Once convinced of the applicant's good character, the court would administer an oath of allegiance to support the Constitution of the United States. The applicant's children to the age of 21 would also be naturalized. The court clerk was to record those proceedings, and thereupon such person shall be considered as a citizen of the United States. Well, to me, this is all talking about foreigners.
Exactly.
To me, this is all
talking
right. This is all
to people that's not us.
Right. This is not talking about people who are already, from the land.
That shit don't apply to us. And when you, like you saying, once we realize that, we got to step away from it. Once you get into that law shit, you just showing your ignorance and you are party to the fraud. So they can do whatever they fucking want to do to you because you join their fraud.
It's understandable. It's understandable that you would get caught up in this scenario because we've been conditioned to believe that it regards us, right? We've been conditioned to believe that. But once you start reading the fine print, like what it just said, hold on, bro. Hold on, calm down. I think AP gonna give us enough time to discuss this matter. But once you dig into the actual content of this various law system and how it's structured, you begin to see that you really don't fit into the scenario, bro. Like Superman said, this shit don't apply to you. You already natural to the land, bro. You of the land. How you gonna get naturalized and you already of the land? You came out the womb naturalized. How does this apply to you, bro?
Listen, calm down. I'm gonna walk you through it right quick.
No, you can't walk me through it. You can attempt, but I ain't going through it with you.
I got you. Calm down, King. It ain't that hard. I'm gonna walk you through it right quick. Now, the people of the people of the land that call themselves citizens of the United States, all right, now they got a process they got to go through to be a citizen of a particular place they call United States. You agree with that, right? Now, if you come here as an immigrant, there's a process you got to do to get naturalized to be a United States citizen. If you're here, you're born here, you have an obligation once you become a major to correct your status as an Aborigine, as an Indian, as a Moor, as a whatever nationality you want to go under. But when you turn 18, you're supposed to go down and when you register for the military, you're supposed to go down and correct all that, King. So now, if you don't correct it, follow me.
I have a question.
If you don't correct it, though, you still will be what they call a ward of the state because when you were born, that contract with that birth certificate, which made you a ward of the state. If you never corrected that, King, you still a ward of the state until you correct it. Now, you can go around telling everybody in the world what you are, but until you handle your business, you still a ward of the state. As a ward of the state, King, follow me. As a ward of the state, you follow the particular acts.
All right, I got you.
Constitution does not apply to you.
Is a nation a corporation?
No.
So who forms a
There's never
nation?
a corporation within a nation, though, King.
So how is a nation formed?
Understand amongst a bunch of motherfucking people come under one law, have one band and one goddamn ritual, one law, one religion, or whatever I mean. That makes a nation.
Have you ever worked for a corporation before?
Of course.
Okay, that corporation has bylaws and laws and corporate citizens, correct?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between ExxonMobil and the United States of America?
Finish? They're two United States.
If I don't work for ExxonMobil, I don't have to go by their bylaws or their corporate citizenship.
Cool. And I understand what you're saying, but if you're on their territory, though, you have to.
How in the
if you go to ExxonMobil, yes, you got to follow laws. They got their own
Hold on.
security.
All right,
If
slow
you're
down.
not ExxonMobil property, you
Slow
have to
down.
apply. You have to adhere to their particular laws or their bylaws they got.
So that makes him a tyrant. That makes him a tyrant and taking some
Nigga, that
shit
make
that
law.
don't
That make
belong
you
to
just
them.
ignorant of law. Follow me now.
If ExxonMobil comes set up on my grandma's plantation, if ExxonMobil comes set up on my grandma's plantation, you telling me because they showed up and took over some shit, they in the right?
They didn't take over nothing. Your grandma sold it. Word. They on your grandmama land, your grandmama sold it. Period.
So you telling me that these people are square dealing people and they just did shit on the square like that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Boy,
man.
you lying your ass off now.
This is the problem that I keep hearing is going back and forth. Let me say this one more time. Whether I agree or disagree with your position, Darvis, as I said earlier, whoever created originally, we're 2 centuries going on 3 removed. What happened at that time, whether there were our ancestors that were sellouts, collaborators, or conducting business without authority, it was not something that constrained any and all the rest of us, certainly not the majority of our ancestors that were not in the commercial agreement. Secondly, it certainly does not hold true or makes any of us beholden to a system, as Smoke has said repeatedly. The obvious evidence shows it is no benefit to us whatsoever. Third, and thank you for bringing that up, Bap, would you go back to the alien part of the actual Naturalization Act of 1790? Smoke, if you could read that again. And what is an alien and what is an alien enemy?
It ain't on the screen no more, Alabama.
If you bring it back up, add power, if you're still there in the part of this discussion, could you circle back to the part of it that speaks specifically to alien and alien enemy? And I don't know if you remember, Smoke, I think we were on a different panel discussion. I brought it up at the time. You remember I asked you, where are the common law courts where these naturalized persons were required to submit an application and to prove themselves not to be an enemy, but it did not take away that they were forever an alien. You feel me? Smoke?
They got naturalized.
So hold on, Darvis. There's a point. Hold on, Darvis. There's a point to what I'm saying. All of these people, by the mere fact of they are alien to this soil, makes us alien to the criminal enterprise. Remember, Smoke, when we were talking about this at that time? Because we were kind of going back and forth over that. So I was asking Smoke, brother, please, just hold on for a second, okay? Smoke, if you remember the previous conversation that we were having, did I not ask you at that time, does anything in regards to this criminal enterprise mean that the enterprise, the United States government, and anything else that flows from it, whether it's state government, municipal government, counties, and the actual corporations, including these multinational behemoths that are operating, claiming they're from American origin, is not all of that foreign to us, the Aboriginal people on this land?
Let me ask you a question,
Yes,
Alabama.
yes.
I was talking to Smoke, plus. Just please hold on to yourself, bro. You can respond, but I'm talking with Smoke for the conversation we had previously. Do you get what I'm saying, Smoke?
Right. It's foreign, bro. And trying to put yourself in that position, you're gonna make yourself foreign. That's what you're
Under
gonna do.
consent, right?
Right.
Under consent.
Right.
But
For sure.
even in the case of whether a person is ill-informed or doing things against their will and are providing consent willfully or not, fraud vitiates everything. So it does not matter whether you willfully participate in it or truly informed and participating in it. All that operates under fraud violates itself. And the crime in and of itself is only to the victim stating they're being defrauded. You feel me what I'm saying, Smoke? And so that is where, remember we talked about the Alien Tort Act too?
Yeah,
And
I
remember
remember.
why I brought it up and said that it falls exclusively under the federal court jurisdiction, correct?
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's written in the same law that created this court system, the Federal Judiciary Act of 1789. So if we can kind of keep the conversation simple, and it's not whether I agree with you, Darvis, or not. If you're going to argue in this realm, we need to have the parameters set correctly. Can we at least agree on that? And I yield.
I agree with you, King. And I thought everybody understood the parameters right now. When we start talking about emotions, I get where you're coming from. You sound like you've been emotionally, hurt by these people. I understand what you're saying. Now, when we start talking about law, none of that bullshit to apply, King. None of it. You can whine all the fuck you want. You can show pictures of your people getting whipped. You can do all that, King. But it still does not apply in law, King.
True.
You have to understand. And if you keep on pushing people or you lead people down that path, it's not just on you that you don't get, but you're responsible for all the people to follow you, King.
Darvin, what puts you in that jurisdiction to follow that law?
Because you aboriginal and your people came up with this law. You have a certain status you're responsible for claiming.
All right, listen.
Who they come up with that law for, bro?
The law was not for us. It was
Yes,
for
who did they come up with that law?
Why would your grandma make a, or your great grandparent make a law for somebody else?
the same reason that corporation makes laws for their citizens.
King, you can't be a citizen. You aboriginal.
Alabama, what runs the land for the chat and for the panel? What rules the land, Alabama?
Is that Light Man Z, my brother from another mother?
Nah, this a little bro. This Chiapas.
Chiapas, what were you saying? Because Darvis is, kind of on a roll here, man. But what were you saying?
I wish nonetheless good on the panel too. I was asking from your research and your path, what rules the land?
Now you're saying rule over the land? Is that what you're saying and you're asking your question? Or are you saying
yes, sir.
What is considered
rules
rulership? Because I don't want to misquote what you're asking. When we're talking about, maybe I'll use a different word, supposed domain or dominion. Okay. This is the trick. And I like referencing my good brother Malcolm where he used the phrase tricknology, but I call it trick-a-nigga-nology. People are misled to believe that they have control over a certain thing, and they lead you to convince you that that is true. So therefore, you are now a part of the delusion. You feel me? Now, I'm certainly you're aware that no one owns any patch of land. But springing from it, whether we call ourselves autochthonous or not, or we call ourselves indigenous or not, or if we understand that we're an actual aborigine, you can lay claim where you came from the soil. Do you follow where I'm going, Chiapas? So I was born in the state of Alabama. Okay. Alabama would be the soil, and my mother's womb would be also the soil I sprung from. You follow me?
But do that give you any status in law, though, King?
Hold on, Darvis. I was trying to respond to Chiapas. If I'm on the same page with you,
Just,
Chiapas?
we just gonna keep it clear, man. At any time, anybody can be engaged on questioning on this open panel, man. So let's keep it peaceful. Shaif ain't here right now, so let's keep the conversation
Yes,
flowing.
sir. I'm listening.
So he dropped. Okay, so because I'm trying to respect the person who asked the question. So are we on the same page, Chiapas?
Yes, sir.
So that I understand clearly what your question is asking. If we work from that context, who then has rulership or rule over that soil or territory? Now, we could say the Aborigine, or we could say the sovereign. You understand what the concept of sovereign is, right?
Correct.
Your sovereignty is your birthright, right? It's not citizenship, is it?
No, sir.
So how in the hell you got people talking about being sovereign citizens? That's an oxymoronic statement.
Oxymoron. Yes, sir.
That's not oxymoronic. You gotta understand.
So when you are born, when you breathe the air from the creator that brought you through the womb of your mother and the product of your father, from your first breath, you're a sovereign being, correct?
No.
Correct.
I'm talking to my good young brother Chiapas.
I know, but
so then wherever your birthright is, that would give you some level of rulership. If I'm trying to answer what you're asking. You see what I'm saying?
Darvis, you could pitch in, but you got to be clear for the viewers, because like you said, we responsible for who listening.
Cool.
Y'all all right, but you got to put it in context.
Cool. I got you, King. When you're born here in the United States, you're born a ward of the state. There's a contract in which was signed, which made you a ward of the state. If y'all don't understand it, my bad. I'll walk you through it. But it's something we got to know.
Slow down, Big D. Slow them down. Slow down. They didn't make it. The parents made the contract.
Yeah.
So can a minor contract under the law you talking about?
No, but
it's all non and void.
A ward can't contract either. That's why, because you're a ward.
So how the contract not be a fraud? If a ward can't contract, what can I ask you a question? If a ward can't contract, how does a license apply to a ward?
You finished? All right, listen.
Go ahead.
Your mother had you. When your mother had you, you were her property. She made you a ward. Inadvertently, maybe, most likely.
Under who rule?
What made you a particular ward? When it birth and then that made you a ward of the state.
So children are property. Who made that rule?
Yes.
Who made that rule?
Law. God made it.
Whoa!
Yes.
No God ever told me that. I ain't never
God probably
talked
never told you nothing. He ain't never told me nothing either. But he left.
Well, then how you gonna say something that he ain't never said?
It was written down.
By whom?
It became
By
law.
whom?
All right. Let's get our scholarship on. Darvis, come on, because we got people listening. This is critical time in the year we in. So let's do a quiz, Darvis. What is a straw man? Nah, because we can't have you just be blabbering. People be thinking you crazy, but you got some knowledge. So I'm gonna put you to the test. Darvis, what is a straw man?
You behind the 8 ball. You got to understand this.
Nah, money grip. What, Darvis? For the viewers in the panel, what is a straw man?
A straw man is a particular corporation or the persona they made off of you to get paid off your acoustic accounts. You understand? See, if you don't understand the business, you understand acoustic accounts. You understand what a straw man is. A straw man is a particular person that entity that was made off of your particular birth certificate that they use as a security, and they trade it.
How was the straw man created?
Right. Who gave birth to the straw man?
Under the contract. The first contract.
Why create a straw man, Darvis?
Your contract, the first contract was when your mother became born, when she became a ward of the state, and she became a straw man. They made a straw man over her.
Is that legal or lawful, Darvis?
Huh?
Is it legal or lawful?
Both. Both.
Nah, money grip.
Then we'll make it illegal. How come anybody sue nobody yet and win? Let's go on in every country in the fucking
The
world.
fictitious strawman is a legal entity, not lawful.
Let me ask you a question. Put your ID on the screen right quick. You cover your face and all that, now, man. You operate with something like that? Do you understand that's ID? The particular security that was
It's a representation of me.
It shows that you should not get away with it.
None. Break it down, none.
You should not depart with it. You just gotta understand how to use it.
Yo, peace of the gods, yo. How we get on this subject? Were we talking about this? I mean,
Okay, listen. Ain't nothing more important than law. Word.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. No,
That's what they using against us, King.
No, I feel you. I'm just saying people sometimes be like because
so if we don't know it, then how can we fight with them?
Yeah, but people be
how can we defend ourselves with a person using law?
No, you right, bro. I ain't saying you wrong. I'm just saying, yo.
Hey, law is also being used to offend you. It's also being utilized to offend you.
King, law is law.
I'm just saying. I'm just
Are
saying.
you a layman, Darvis? Are you a layman?
I'm not a layman. I'm a Mo.
I mean, so what's the whole contention? What's the problem? What's not people not understanding, bro, about the law? I mean,
I got one question. I got one question for everybody on the panel. If you were to go to your mother and ask her if she ever informed on you, what would her response be?
She'll be like, no.
Thank you. That by all means that indicates fraud. Then let me ask you a question, Darvis.
That's not fraud.
Hold on. I know you don't like the law that you adhere to be challenged, but it must be. It must be for clarity. I want to ask you.
Ask three of them at a time. Matter of fact, give me a clock. I ask all three of them within 30 seconds. Ask it.
I got one question.
You ask over his and let somebody out of his.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Smoke.
Well, let me.
I just want to ask him a question. I wanted him to get through before I ask the question, though.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, what committee was you or your mother present at to create a QSIP account?
Oh, shit. Listen,
hold up. Can I ask you a question real quick?
Right. You in the fourth grade, but you asking about 10th grade matters. Even if I tell you, you won't understand it.
Right.
I didn't come up with a Coos account. The Coos account came up in 1933 when they came up with the Banking Act, King. They had to figure a way to pay off the debt that we was already in debt. We had to borrow more money. So we had to come up with a way to pay off the other debt. So they made everybody debt. They made everybody collateral. And everybody became numbers. Social Security administrator came about. So they can pay off the last debt. You got what I mean? What the last debt paid off, that same number was supposed to be able to offset your debts.
Wait a minute, hold up. Let me explain something real quick, because this is not you can't sit here and build and get people to understand. So sometimes when you already know all the answers, right? But is another thing to get people to understand it within a short period of time.
And I agree with you saying, nonetheless.
You see what I'm saying?
I never ever claimed to be an orator.
No,
I'm not a teacher.
No, you're right.
D, let them flow real quick.
But let me just explain something real quick. When you talk about the United States, right? You're talking about, especially after the Civil War. That's what this is where we had our problems at, because they created something and we didn't really understand what they created. But it's simple.
They didn't create nothing.
No,
we created that.
No, listen, dog. I know what you're saying.
The North and South had been led by black people, right?
No, bro. Look. They kind of.
Why does it seem like y'all talking about two different things right now?
Hold up,
shit that be confusing to me.
Because I think.
Let me get back with none of that. My bad, none of that. Go ahead, kick my bad, King.
Yeah, bro. Because I think that Darvis, you know what you're talking about, bro. I'm not trying to go there, but what I'm trying to say is this: it is something that they created that everybody thinking that we created that we didn't. You see what I'm saying? So when you talk about a system of debt, right? They created a debt-based system, and they created just like when y'all talking about the straw man. That all that shit is important, right? And they did, and look, And look, they found a loophole. Now look, they is somebody talking? Okay.
That's my
Look,
background.
the loophole in the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, right? It's three, especially in Article 1. When you understand Article 1, which is Congress, Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8, Clause 10, and Clause 17. Those were the loopholes in the Constitution. Congress created their own Constitution, and they had jurisdiction. You look at Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17, you will see that they got jurisdiction over commerce. So anybody in the United States that's doing business, they got jurisdiction over you.
And I agree with that.
So look, so this is what they did. Now pay attention. What they did was, when you're born, they created a franchise that they own, because that's their insular possessions. This is how, like a vacuum, they suck everybody into the District of Columbia, this jurisdiction, and other territories by giving you their possessions, Social Security cards, IDs. And sometimes people don't understand.
So they giving you their possession?
Right.
Or they making you possession?
You're holding their possessions. So
they're making you the possession, okay?
No, they're not making you.
Are the number. The number is you.
I understand what
that
you're saying. Look,
you. That count represents you.
Yes, but look, you're taking responsibility for it. Remember, when you go to anytime you go to court, they're asking you, "Is this you?" Right? They say, "Is this you?" Look, here go the game right here. They already know who you are, but they want you to admit to it.
Are you the dead entity?
Right? Are you going to take responsibility for our property? You see what I'm saying?
You're a person. Once you understand that you're a person.
No, that's not quite accurate, okay?
No,
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking nothing less.
No, yes, they are, bro. They're asking.
Listen, my man, talk about person right quick. Pay attention. Listen to what he's saying.
Go ahead.
Talk about person.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. You said person is what?
What you a person or a people, man? That's only one, and people could be plural in the sense of use in legalese.
Right.
Explain what a person is, okay?
A person is an
entity.
Yeah, it's an organization, a association,
civilly
a corporation.
Civilly mortus.
Say it one more time for me, AP.
Civilly mortus, an artificial.
Hey, but look,
not real.
But look, bro, in the styles, man, they tell you everything in capital letters is a fictional entity.
Yeah.
So therefore,
I agree with that.
Okay,
but you do know you can control that though, right?
See, that's why I don't want to go, because that's another lesson. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying, Doris? So when you talking, that's a lesson that people don't understand yet. You feel what I'm saying? So I don't want to go that far, because
you brought it up though. We gotta understand it because you brought it up.
Damn, Doris, man.
No, I see what you're saying, Dar, but that's a whole nother lesson. You see, I'm trying to get people to understand what system, with how they're being sucked into, how they are in the jurisdiction, just by
look. This is what it is. I'm gonna help Let's saying the same thing, but he's telling you the beginning process. What it is, they made you homeless. So now you're a resident without a home. Now you ain't got nothing. They give you certain things to hold on to, which is contracts. Right. Now you're an artificial entity by way of this corporation. They're giving you things to hold it so they can identify you as, right? To let you know whether or not you're a citizen of this corporation. ID, social, birth, via. You see what I'm saying?
Right. And those possessions have debt. That's like somebody giving you a credit card that already has $1 million in debt in, and said that, okay, you can use it, but look, you know it. Look, they're not telling you it got debt on it, but they're telling you can still run it up. So the $1 million of debt that they ran up, you're now saying, okay, I'm responsible for the $1 million of debt that you didn't incur because it got an all caps name on it that looks like your name, but it's not your name. You see what I'm saying? Just because a name looks like yours, spelled the same as yours, doesn't mean that's your name. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with that. Yes.
So that's what I think, that when you understand that Congress is responsible for everything that you do outside of the Constitution, because Article 3 is the protection of your rights. Look, you don't have constitutional right. You have constitutional protected rights. Constitution protects your rights. Now, what's your rights? I don't know what your rights are. I don't know your family, what your family bylaws are. That's private. That's why we say public and private, because your family and your clan, your tribe, your nation, you know what I mean, has its own private. Nobody is to see that.
Cool.
So if
you're
they,
part of a nation, though.
but if they
you're not
don't,
part of a nation, okay?
Look, I know what you're saying. What I'm saying, you
if you're
said
not
some
a part
people
of
are
a
not.
nation, what does that make you, King?
That makes what? If you're not a part of a nation, if you don't,
what does that make you?
That makes you a ward. That makes you a ward. But look.
No,
I know.
Make you civil little ward more too.
Hey, but Darby, you still, but look, bro, let me tell you something though, Darby. You still have rights as a being. Nobody, everybody. No, you still have rights, bro. Even without that.
No, it don't work like that.
Hey,
Okay?
Darby,
yes, it does, bro. You can't.
You do, because you work. First off, you gotta openly. You got the right to self-identify.
Exactly.
But suppose you never self-identified or
big bro, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this question.
You're openly admitting to what they categorizing you.
So what did that make you, okay?
A dead entity.
All right then.
Right, but that doesn't mean that you don't have rights as a being, bro. You have life.
As soon as you admit that you're a flesh and blood being, your rights pop in instantly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But if you don't,
can I ask you a question, Darby?
Islam.
Can I
peace,
ask you a question, bro? What's up, man?
Peace, big Aboriginal power. Appreciate the platform. I got a question for y'all real quick. Is it fair to say that everyone has IDs on the panel?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Is it fair to say that everyone has birth certificates?
Yeah. Go ahead.
And driver's license?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. I want to read something to y'all. This is 1508 specifically mentioned identification documents. It's Title 18 USC 1028. Section 1028 of Title 18 designates 3 special non-federal identification documents and gives them preferred treatment. These 3 documents, in the absence of a national identity card. I'll say it again. These 3 documents, in the absence of a national identity card, are the prime means by which an individual establishes his identity in the United States. The 3 documents are birth certificate, driver's license, and a personal identification card. Now, that's with the absence of a nationality card. Now, I just want to drop that real quick, and y'all can look that up and read into it a little bit more. I got to get off, but I just want to drop that real quick.
I reserve all my rights.
Right. And that, not only that, bro, look, even if you got all that stuff, right, you still have the right to represent the franchise that they created because it's necessary, because you are the entity in which those entities exist. So without you, they wouldn't exist. So you can still represent that United States citizen. Because remember, United States citizen is not the real person. United States citizen is the all caps name. It's not no person. I mean, it's not the flesh and blood human being. You see what I'm saying?
Cool.
Right.
Legal entity.
Yeah, it's a creature. You ever heard something called creatures of law? Creatures of law?
Yep.
Okay. That means that they're created from their laws that they created. Therefore, it doesn't apply to you. So yes, these laws don't apply to you. However, if you don't rebut them, then they operate off of assumptions, presumptions, and color of law, because they're assuming, because it is a such thing as the law of silence. I mean, the language of silence. You know, silence is a language, right? Body language.
Tacit agreement.
Right. Your actions, your silence is now acquiesces into their jurisdiction, because they're looking at you on how. You go to court, right, and say, well, I ain't know United States. You know what the judge, one time somebody told me, the judge said, well, you look pretty well fed. You got some nice clothes on. Where did you get those clothes from? How did you buy them? Did you, I mean, you're not poor. Where you there now? You know what they doing? They sizing your ass up. They like, oh, you complaining about not being one of the citizen that we're saying, but your actions and we know you ain't buy that without our money. So how are you not a U.S. citizen? Because we've been taking care of your ass. So now you gotta rebut that. You gotta rebut that somehow, some way. Since you got the gift of gab, get your ass out of that situation.
On God.
That's easy to get out of it. That's easy. That's easy. That's easy to get out of it.
All right, well, do it then.
Right, because if they are compelling you to be put up under the assumption that that they are taking care of you, then they will have to show receipts, right? They will have to show clear receipts that they have been taking care of you, and they're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, they can.
No,
How?
hold up, bro. No, hold up, yo. No, hold up, bro. Hold up.
Ward of the state and
Big
a
bro.
United States citizen.
Wait a
Put
minute.
some
Well, you
fire
sound like
emojis in
you
the
sound
chat.
like
We
a
still
tape
on this
recorder,
topic.
bro.
Bro, can y'all
You
wait
starting to
up?
sound like a tape recorder.
No, hold
Water
up.
the state this, water the state that. I'm not the water no motherfucking
Big
state.
bro, hold
You
up.
might
Yes,
be
you
a
are.
ward, but I
Yes,
ain't.
you are,
Well,
man.
you don't know me like that, bro.
Yo,
You don't know
Jarvis,
me like that.
Matter.
one
You don't know
second,
me like
please.
that, bro.
I don't have to know your game.
Jarvis, can
Yes,
y'all
you do. You got to know me to
chill out?
say I'm a ward of the state.
No, not
Bro,
really.
What
bring it
state?
down.
What state am I? What state am I a ward of then?
Bro, can y'all bring it down?
Ones.
Wait a minute, bro. Can y'all bring it down? Because I want to say something. Smoke signal. That was excellent, bro. Exactly.
That's
You
what
was
we
right.
doing.
That's what you say.
No, it ain't, nigga. That shit ain't right.
No, yes it, bro.
And y'all know
Yes
that
it
shit ain't
is,
right.
bro. When he said, you gotta give credit. What he said
What's the
is
difference between
right,
that and
bro.
what Stokely Carmichael said?
No.
What's the difference?
Nah, bro. What I'm saying is, bro, if you're going, what I'm saying is this. You gotta, if you're gonna sit up here and actually go face to face with these devils, because you know what they're trying to do. They're trying to tell you to bring some type of proof. So now they gotta prove it. So that was good. What he said. You feel what I'm saying?
I got a question for you, Darvis. Darvis, I got a question for you.
What?
Do you recognize that the United States is a corporation, or do you think it's the government?
I understand it's a corporation. What I'm saying is the government was incorporated.
No, what they are is a de facto. No, bro, they are de facto government.
You run the same thing I ran to.
They're a de facto government, which means that there's nothing else better to take their place.
Paying tax to it?
Right. They're de
Are
facto.
you paying tax to it? So I make you a part and party to correct? All right then.
Hey, dog, let me ask you this, bro. Since you said, do you pay taxes, right?
I'm asking you if you pay taxes to it.
No, hold up.
I mean, you a part of party to it.
Okay, paying with what? What you paying with? Because you know it's no money, right? That's not money.
Can't listen.
You can't pay nothing. You're not paying anything.
Stop that.
You can't pay a debt with a debt.
Thank you. So you don't ever say pay when you're in front of these people, because they always gonna know you don't know what you're talking about.
That comes from a misunderstanding.
You
can owe me, and you can pay me in goddamn bananas.
They haven't paid nobody since that bankruptcy, bro. They giving those notes, huh?
Which bankruptcy you talking about?
The bankruptcy, the 1930, the New Deal, 1933.
Teddy Roosevelt, punk ass.
The House Joint Resolution 192.
Cool.
Right?
But Clearfield and all that. I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
So right now, all we doing is working behind the ledger. We're in debt. So they've been issuing IOUs through the Federal Reserve, which is not a part of the federal government. The federal government is lending us their IOUs, and now we're repaying the interest on the debt that the United States owns, and the citizens are deemed to repay that debt under the jurisdiction of Article 1. Right?
Yeah, all public debt is paid.
I'm saying this, right? Once we you pay attention to Clearfield, you realize that
Darvis like a Uzi.
the government, the aggregate government, we forfeited that. It
You
became something different. That offset all that debt. All that was offset. That's why they gave up the gold. That's why they gave up all the gold to pay off that whole debt.
Hey, Darvis, you said that the United
States. All set.
Yeah.
You said it was a corporation, right?
Okay, you can all set.
Can anyone force you to act in a corporation?
Yes.
You have to form a corporation in order to communicate with the corporation. That's why your all caps is a corporation. It's not you. That's what we're trying to tell you. You're acting as a surety. You're acting as the surety for a
I
corporation.
understand that. You preach to the choir.
Okay, go ahead.
Can the man talk? We keep cutting him off.
Now go ahead, bro. I mean, if he understands, then explain it.
Once you understand, follow me, right? When you born and you put in a particular contract,
They form. Wait a minute, hold on, bro. They're form. What they're doing? They're forming a corporation under your name.
And I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Follow me what I'm saying though. When you born, your mother signed a contract with, and some of our fathers normally attest to it.
Anyway, to create a corporation, right?
Follow what I'm saying though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now we were minors with properties of our mothers, who was also wards of the state, which made us wards of the state. Once we became a majority, it was our responsibility to go back and correct the status. To put out and declare to these people that you're not that. Separate yourself from the so-called straw man. Now, once you do that, you can let the straw man die, or you can copyright the straw man.
It's a fraud on his face.
That's right. There you go, bro. Yep, copyright your name. Yeah, copyright it. Yep, you're right.
So let's go back to the Social Security thing. That particular account, we correct that account.
Darwin.
No, you don't use it. No, you don't use it. You can't correct it.
You can get rid of it, not use it, or you can correct it and use it. Because it's you. That is you. That's your property. It's all trust law.
Darwin, somebody asked you a question, bro. I don't know if you can hear him.
Account,
but you keep repeating that, bro. Listen.
Because
in the beginning, it's a fraud. Why are you defending it so hard?
It's not a fraud. It's not a fraud.
If you wait, slow down, bro. If a minor can't contract, how can somebody put a contract on the minor? Wait a minute, bro. Can I finish my question? If your mama is a ward, wards can't contract. Minors can't contract.
Yes, they can.
But you just said the opposite, man. Come on, bro.
No, I did not.
So how can a ward contract? How can a ward contract?
Yes. Don't you got?
How can a ward contract? A person in jail can.
Don't you have a
person in jail?
Hold on. Let's get some balance on the panel. Shout out to everybody on here. This is a dope conversation, and this is some real player shit, man. When we get to the intellectual and decoding some of this shit, just know it's different ways to skin a cat. I want you guys to stay optimistic when listening to other people's perspectives on here. All right, I just want to include that as we build. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody in the building. Nothing but love to everybody that's in the building. Make sure y'all hit that like button, support the channel. Hey, man, make sure y'all support the channel, man. We got 182 people in here. Let's get these likes up, y'all. Let's get these likes up. If you are enjoying the video, support the channel.
Copper color grizzly
at the bottom of the screen. Make sure y'all drop a fire emoji in the chat if y'all can hear me. Shout out to all y'all in the chat. I see y'all. John, Cole, I believe girl, my big brother Hawk. Yo, what's going on? I see you. Let's get it.
Boy, Alabama.
The interesting commentary, the back and forth, and I appreciate the wisdom and the insight that people are sharing. But again, it seems that maybe I did not make myself clear. So let me suggest one more approach at this. And this is a legal phrase, very specific and succinct. Fraud vitiates everything. It's not an exception. It's not a clause. That's not, bro, didn't interrupt you, man. You really you need to hold yourself for a moment so people can actually have a conversation.
Said you know law, so govern yourself, Darvis.
Go ahead, King.
He think it's God's law. We gotta adhere to. That's why he's so emotional.
You know, when I'm listening to none your business, Smoke Signal, and then, man, you were really hitting a lot of out of the park home runs. But again, the false premise of the entire discussion is that it has any basis. Once it is determined that it's fraud, I don't know what young blood that said that. Whether it's a minor you're talking about, a baby that cannot make a contract, someone else cannot do something in your behalf. I don't care if it's your parent. when a system is set up that makes operational behavior based on fraud, it invalidates itself. What's hard to understand about that? First. Secondly, any discussion going forward from that is moot, because what you're trying to do, and it's a very weak attempt at best, you're trying to validate something that's already been revealed to be a criminal enterprise. So, first and foremost, any discussion that is a direct thing to impact me personally or us as a people, as Aborigines, or as the Aboriginal population, it is based on fraud. Now, continuing convincing people to go and engage a criminal activity, then there are certain things that are like accomplice before and after the fact. If a murder takes place, that also puts penalty on that individual. And I can go on with other examples, but it does not matter whether you quarrel over what is de facto or what is de jure. In any of these discussions, I'll land my plane on this, Bap, because I really do want your perspective on this. Any discussions that are putting us in any capacity to this criminal enterprise is making us collusional, co-conspirators, or more than the actual victim that needs to file the claim, as I keep stating, under the Alien Tort Act, that we have been defrauded, and only we can claim it as the descendants of the Aborigines of this land. And I yield.
No, my third is just to add in some clarity to connect the bridges from both of the continuous kinds of conversations is document the fraudulent act, murder, all right, but we definitely does have fraudulent act, which is just inconsistency with murder because it does not have a statute of limitation. And these are the things that we need when we're going to be putting together the criminal behind the hot seat.
Yes, sir. Thank you, bro. Everybody on the panel, thank y'all, man. But I want to say something. I want to say this though, just to build on what everybody's saying. Right? It's very difficult to prove fraud. Right now, it's not impossible, but that's a very and it's very difficult. Now, one thing about fraud, you got to prove intent. That's why the history of who we are is very important because we're proving intent.
Like doctrine discovery.
Right. We're saying that they wanted to. They wanted our inherit, you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. We all can go through the history and see the criminal actions that they
act on that particular thing.
No, hold on, AP, because none your business, and it is your business. I know you like saying that in your name, but here, just stay with me for one quick moment, because we don't have to go too back far in time. We're barely 100 years from this date. 1924 Racial Classification Act. And then segue to Margaret Sanger and the Negro Project, which are all documented and are proof and evidence of changing the American, the Negro, into something other than that, and to exterminate the Negro under the Negro Project through eugenics. Now, chop on that, brother.
All right. See, one thing I think, that's why it's important that we have people that are willing to listen and build and actually want to build their nation and their family and protect them through our own rules, because your family, that's the laws. Those are real laws. When you make laws for your family, like a trust agreement, what's it called? It's called the business organization. What's called the Dang, I can't think right now.
With people who have a lot of money, it's called a family office. Well, or if you talk about foundations and trusts, like you just pointed out.
Business trust organization.
But go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No, what I'm trying to say is business trust organization. And when inside of a business trust organization, you will have something called a trust indenture, right? Now your trust indenture is going to be no less than probably 80 pages. So that's going to cover the executor, the trustees, and the beneficiaries of your family, your tribe, whatever you have, nation. You know what I mean? So therefore, you're setting it up exactly how the Constitution actually gives you the right to create your own Constitution. Because Constitution doesn't mean just the U.S. Constitution. You can have your own family Constitution, just like the states have their own Constitution. You know what I'm saying? So we're not really U.S. citizens. We're actually states. So when whatever state you was born in, that's your actual the body politic that you supposed to be giving orders to, and those orders through the governor supposed to go through to the U.S. and they supposed to follow. But if you don't have that set up, then they're going to have you as being like he said, a ward of a state, which means that you need trustees because you're showing you're incompetent to handle your own affairs. So they're putting themselves as a trustee under something that we need to study called a constructive trust. Constructive trust happens every day, all day, thousands of times a day in court, because they know that you're in there representing their entity and they're putting you as a trustee and then locking you up for breach of fiduciary duties. So when you understand that when you talk about fraud, how can they be fraudulent when they're looking at you as the trustee? They're assigning you under the laws of constructive trust as the trustees. So they're saying, oh, why you not handling? You the trustee of this corporation that your mother signed us up. Why are you not handling your bit? Oh, okay. You trying to blame us? Well, we're not. It's because you. Okay, you trying to say that I'm a trustee? Okay, you go in there and say, okay, Judge, I'm assigning you as a trustee. I guarantee they're gonna be like, no, I ain't no trustee. You the trustee, and you fucked up. You see what I'm saying? So you got you see what I'm saying? So you got to understand what you're doing, what you're saying, what you have in your possession. So when I'm saying trust law, y'all got to understand trust law. You got to understand that they operating. That's how they got free from the British monarchs when they started learning trust law. You see what I'm saying? And then when they came over here, see, we already, our ancestors was holding us down. They was holding us down with that shit, but they killed all of them. You see what I'm saying? Because you gotta understand, those were the intellectuals that knew what the fuck was going on around the world, what knew was going on since the beginning of the time, which knew about that natural law principle of man, woman, child, the executor, the beneficiary of that womb. You see what I'm saying?
Would you say they created it?
But what I'm saying,
that's
statutory representative.
That's natural law, bro. Principles of trust. You see what I'm saying?
Right. Trust is it's behind a corporate veil, so it's separate.
No, what I'm saying, well, it's operate under the
family will estate.
All in the uniform.
The articles, look, under corporation, they call it the articles of incorporation. So the articles of incorporation, if you look at it, is set up just like a trust indenture. The Constitution is set up just like a trust. It's the same thing, but you're supposed to have that under your family, and then put all of that under them. Because remember, the United States is foreign. That's foreign. That's why it's a district. It's a district of Columbia, which means that they operate only for foreign interests. So therefore, you can be American and be a citizen of Tennessee, like you be a Tennessean or Floridian. Therefore, you're foreign to the United States jurisdiction.
Okay, Nunya, it's right there on that point. I was waiting for you to get to that point.
Yeah.
This is the problem that an average person can't comprehend. I appreciate everything that you just said. It's great. But remember what I just asked Smoke earlier about we are foreign to it, meaning any corporate behavior, any business conducted. Say that one more time, Nunya Biz.
See, I think people always get scared of that though, Alabama, because when we say foreign, we're not saying foreign to the land. We're saying foreign to their ideology, foreign to that concept.
Now, nonetheless, did you go back and look at the Naturalization Act of 1790 and understand the context is specific only to aliens, and they categorize the second group as alien enemies? That is why these people are not Aboriginal, never will be. They fall under a status of citizenship, possible small case C, which means subject to everything you just described. You feel me? Right. So the Naturalization Act of 1790 has laid out all the parameters that continue to underscore we're not alien. What is going on is alien. It is foreign to this soil. We are of the soil. You see where I'm going with this nonetheless? See, we don't need to keep, and I'm not saying you were intending to do that, or even Darvis with his approach of saying this. We need to not discuss things with our fellow brothers and sisters who are clueless in simple forms other than the example that I put out. You are a product of your mother and your father. Everyone knows that. Where that womb gave birth to you is your soil. That's whatever those 50 states that we described them today. But I really prefer to stick with the lower 48 because Hawaii and Alaska is an interesting confluence of foreign territory, et cetera, et cetera. But for our own discussion, to understand what being an Aborigine and Aboriginal is, you are from this soil, you are from your people, and that's, now this is my opinion, but that is your nationality. And I yield.
Cool. Now, let me get back in there. Now,
man, that ain't got nothing to do with us, man. None of that has anything to do with us. That's what he's saying. That's not for us.
Cool. And I understand what you're saying, okay? But I'm saying this, though. Unless you go up there and put these people on nose or sign some kind of affidavit to make sure they understand who you are whatever contracts you are.
You are party to the fraud if you get into that paperwork, bro. You a party to the fraud.
Let me ask you a question, right, King? If I agree, right? Listen, if me and you get together and we agree that we're gonna motherfucking sell this goddamn weed, we agree how we're gonna break down the money, whatnot. Know what I mean, can you go back in court and say that the agreement you made was fraudulent if you agreed to it?
That's the point. I didn't. No, we didn't. We didn't agree to it.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, I'm saying, yeah. If I made a deal with you to chop up some weed, yeah, I'm saying we are not a party to the contract. It don't apply to us.
You are though, King.
They can't force you to act.
Yes,
you cannot be forced to act,
because
bro.
you did not put
that goes against your nature.
Correct your status. You have no other choice.
That's tyranny, man. That's a tyrannical system.
Look up treason.
You cannot force a natural being to act.
I just want to say one thing before I hop off the panel. If you holding any of them instruments, you better own that name, or somebody else will.
It's called minimal contact.
I agree with that. So now, if you own a name, it's something different. You own that straw man, it's something different.
Hey, but bro, can I say this?
But listen, though, until you go up to them people and identify or make sure them people understand who you are, and put that in documents, you are whoever. I mean, the contracts that you are.
Mm-hmm.
You never went down and say, "Listen,
Darvis, you know what? I mean, I keep hearing you say the same thing, and you obviously either are not hearing me or any of these other young brothers.
I hear you, King. I'm saying that's a lie.
What I'm saying I'm directing it specifically to you for the moment. If you would actually listen, Darvis.
That's not true.
Darvis, if you would actually listen, you can't respond before I actually state the question.
You cut me off. I said back everybody.
You become people off too, taking on them Dubra shots, Darvis. Now I'm out to roast your ass.
And I apologize if I did cut somebody off. My bad, King.
You've been cutting everybody off all night, but I'm going to ask you to specifically engage with you, Darvis. You use the word, more than one person asked you, you cannot be forced to comply. And you, in a dubious fashion, I don't think you maybe realize what you were saying. You said that you can be forced. That is a foundation. I see, bro, we can't have a conversation if you don't let people finish speaking, When you say such a thing, it's not about whether you're intending harm or not. Force in and of itself is an injury. And to force people to be either complicit or to consent is a basis under fraud being a crime. So this young brother just told you, I don't care what's going on here in this criminal enterprise, because you see, this is the problem with us with the language that we use. Everything that we're discussing is unlawful, illegal, and unconstitutional. Secondly, for us to be coerced or forced, that's part of the definition of fraud. If any other act that is criminal, by the way, the taking of someone's life, which is happening to Aborigines daily in this criminal enterprise, that is a compounded penalty on top of any other crime that is committed. And whether you actively engage or were made to do something against your will, you are also complicit in the criminal activity. So this is what the young brother, and I don't want to put words in your mouth. I don't know which one of you young brothers that said that, Superman or Chiapas or whoever. They kept trying to tell you, good brother, and I don't think as an elder, you were paying them some respect. They kept telling you this don't have anything to do with me, and then you going to what? Browbeat them to convince them that it does, or are you going to actually listen to people, Darvis, and then maybe we could engage a more uplifting conversation in the future? And I yield.
Cool.
He be on Top Cats too much.
Let me ask you a question real quick, right? Would you agree that from the time of your birth, you was contracted to be a ward of the state? Would you agree with that?
No. Now, is that more than a simple yes or no? Now, do you want to listen to the actual answer? No, because see, first, you're dealing with false premises, bro, and this is what we keep trying to enlighten you about. First and foremost, no child, certainly an infant, can be actively engaged in any contract or commerce. That's first. Secondly, for any agent operating in their behalf, any agent operating in their behalf, whether it is the parents or the state or the quasi-governmental entity, has now committed the basis of fraud. What part of that you don't understand?
And I'm a cool.
Okay, whatever, brother. Feel what you feel, think what you think. People who are listening hopefully will think on some objective position here and go and do the research for yourself. I've already pointed out two examples. The Constitution is not pertinent to the Aborigine or the descendants of them because it was designed to lay out as a format on what the confines of the behavior of the foreign invaders. The Naturalization Act of 1790 identified who is an alien and how, if they would be extended, quote unquote, citizenship. Citizenship does not equal sovereignty. And I yield.
I never said it did. Cool. Let me ask you a question. Were you in the military?
No, hold up, Jarvis. Hold up. Let me.
It's yes, because I am trying to answer you directly with simple yes and no's. The answer is yes.
Hey, let me introduce. We about to get ready to get out of here, anyways. This is a dope conversation. I will extend it. I don't know, man. I'm getting tired, so I just want y'all to enjoy the rest of y'all live stream as well. But you know, man, we over that 3 hour mark. You know.
Yeah. Good one. Thanks, man. Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate y'all, man. This was a dope. I'm gonna let y'all say a few things to close out with. Go ahead.
Like, subscribe, hit that button, pay for American gods, arrows and elbows, elbows and assholes. Keep them running, copper color grizzly. Keep them running.
Salute, bro. Hey, I want to say this real quick, right, before I leave, right? One thing, the Constitution, right, puts limitations on the government, and we all know that it's for foreign agents, right? We can establish that. Now, what we need to realize is that the Constitution is there to protect your rights. You don't have constitutional rights. You have constitutionally protected rights. So your rights are your property, and you must inform them what those rights are. It ain't they don't give you. You must tell them. So they know that they're committing criminal acts. They know this shit is fraudulent, but it's your job to pull up the fraud. You know what I mean? They're going to continue to do it if they know that you don't know how to enforce the Constitution, right? So they're going to commit fraud knowing that you don't know how to enforce the Constitution that limits them. You see what I'm saying? That's what they're getting away with.
Ignorance is no excuse when it comes to law. We got a 412 area code.
We the gods.
I'm going to take my last call. 412 area code. You're talking to Aboriginal Power Live on the Wake and Bake Show. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
What's up, bro? It's your boy Ray.
Man, what's going on with it?
What's going on, bro? This Benjamin Franklin essay on the Black German King, where he's describing the complexions of Africa, Asia, America.
Can you speak up a little louder for me?
My fault, bro.
Go ahead.
Do you know about the essay Benjamin Franklin wrote on the Black German King, where he's describing these European places like Asia, Russia, they're black, Italy, France, the Swedes, and the Germans are black. You know about that essay? That's all I wanted to ask you. It's about it's on the Black German King, George II.
No, is he talking about the letter from Benjamin Franklin?
The people
Yeah, he's talking about the letter from Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah.
I
Observing the people in America.
Yeah, I appreciate that, brother. Man, I appreciate you calling in, man. Shout out to that brother, man. Hey, I'll let y'all close out. The rest of you brothers on the panel, if y'all want to close out with 30 seconds to brace out. Appreciate everybody.
Bro, before I forget, Bap, I don't know that you smoked them or not, man, but what was it you were wanting to try to get with Rob Noxious and King Cass the other day? The pyramids were not constructed by who?
Africans.
Because that's not their name, is it?
Mm-mm.
You see about how problematic this is about what's in a name?
Yeah. No, I wasn't playing no semantics when I said that. I mean the people that identify as Africans on that continent. Is what I'm talking about. But yeah, man, that's a whole nother bill, which I did not get into that day.
You know, brother, and thank you again for the time and always the access to your panel. I appreciate everybody that was in attendance. Nonetheless, smoke signal, and you rest of you wild Indians, keep them running.
Shout out to Alabama, the OG, always coming on with some heat, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Darvish, you want to close out?
Yeah, peace. All I gotta say is this, man. When it comes down to law, we have to understand something, right? Well, we're born within a contract. The particular contract gives us a particular status. Once we become what they call a major, it's your responsibility to go back and correct your status. If you don't go back and correct your status or document your status, make sure everybody understands your status, then they're gonna call you whatever you were, which is a ward of the state. Naturalization is something different from what I'm talking about. We indigenous to these lands. You can't be naturalized, but you have to make sure you on a record as being indigenous. That way, that status applies to you. If you don't, then we become what they call a ward of the state. We go around and identify ourselves at these particular terms that make us civil little mortals. It's nobody's fault that these laws apply to us the way it is. Because we don't claim our correct status. We don't correct our status. We don't claim who we are. It's not these people's fault. It's our fault. If we follow these people that get us to call ourselves these terms that make us civil little mortals, it's not just their fault. It's our fault for following these fuckers. It's been going on for generations after generations. We're in the position we are now because you got these people playing on our emotions. And emotionally, we think this shit sound good, so we go out there and run and claim these particular terms that put us in the position we in now. Our ancestors never did that. They understood law. Jurisprudence is one of the most important subjects taught in school in those days, or taught by our ancestors, or practiced by our ancestors. We came up with these rules. We're going against our people by calling ourselves these things that makes us slaves. Legal slaves.
Right.
Look at the terms.
I appreciate that,
It
brother.
is what it is.
No, I appreciate that, man. That's some heat, man. Shout out to my brother Superman. I'll let you close out, bro.
Man, I said what I had to say. I've been saying the same shit the whole time. But hey, you can go fight the good fight, brother. Keep up the fight. That shit ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right. And it'll be brothers joining in line. There's different ways to skin a cat. And so I close this bill with peace and prosperity to all Aboriginal people across the planet. I pray for consciousness and understanding and intuitive with the Aboriginal people of America. And I want to leave y'all with a night journeys of peace and blessings to you guys' family. If you enjoyed this live stream and this discussion, hit the like button. If you enjoy my commentary and my live stream and the platform that we provide for the American people, support the channel. Cash App and PayPal information is at the bottom of the screen. And with that being said, I say peace, love, and light to all the American Aborigines. If you're out there moving around, traveling, make sure you be safe, be aware, stay vigilant, and stay dangerous. This is your brother Aboriginal Power, and we out. Peace.
See, my life has been in motion. I'm a little windy. I'm not giving up yet. If you with me, time to place up your bet. Ain't no turning back, got niggas who ran. When we caught his ass, got caught in that jam. Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah, you know who I am. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. Yeah, you can feel it coming. Fake love, that snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, that that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, that that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love.